I gave her corn and wine. Then shall she say, I will go and return to my first husband, for then was it better with me than now. For she did not know that I gave her corn and wine and oil, and multiplied her silver and gold, which they prepared for Baal. Therefore will I return, and take away my corn in the time thereof, and my wine in the season thereof, and will recover my wool and my flax, given to cover her nakedness. And now will I discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and none shall deliver her out of mine hand. I will also cause all her mirth to cease, her feast days, her new moons, and her Sabbaths, and all her solemn feasts. And I will destroy her vines and her fig trees, whereof she hath said, These are my rewards that my lovers have given me. And I will make them a forest, and the beasts of the field shall eat them. I will visit upon her the days of Baalim, wherein she
Woe
burned
unto thee,
incense to
Bethsaida!
them, and she decked herself
For
with
if the
her
mighty
earrings and
works
with
had been
jewels,
done in
she
Tyre
went
and
after her
Zidon,
lovers,
which have been done in
forgat
you,
me, saith
they had
the
a
Lord.
great while ago repented, sitting in sackcloth. And to thee, Bethsaida!
And I will visit upon her the days of Baalim, wherein she burned incense to them, and she decked herself with her earrings and her jewels, and she went after her lovers, and forgat me.
I know they were
saith
messing
the
with the
Lord.
water, letting reserves go for one reason or another. They've been doing that a while. California has a lot of problems that sort of baffle the mind as far as why they do things. And then in the events like this, you sort of look, well, is it on purpose? Which, it's an insane thing to think. But one begins to ponder whether or not there is a purpose in mind. What could it be, you know? Do they want the state empty? I don't know.
These people are? This is Stuart and Linda Resnick. The Resnicks own the Wonderful Company. Ironic, isn't it? Palm, Fiji Water, Wonderful Pistachios. They also own preschools. They develop real estate. Linda and Stuart Resnick use more water than every single resident of Los Angeles combined. Linda and Stuart Resnick own 60% of California's water. Linda and Stuart Resnick own 60% of California's water. This California, where multiple fires are currently at 0% containment. And a 2016 study showed that the Resnick's agricultural businesses were, quote, thought to consume more of the state's water than any other
or company. So while California continues to burn, you should probably know that Linda and Stuart Resnick think everything is
Of water rights
think everything is just
around the
wonderful.
world for 30 plus years, and now they're not for sale. Actually, you can produce oxygen. It's tougher to make water. You can make oxygen.
Just 2 months before 9/11, something strange happened. A man named Larry Silverstein took over the World Trade Center, making it private property. Every morning, he would have breakfast on the 91st floor of the North Tower, except on the day of the tragedy. That day, he had an unexpected emergency hospital appointment. But that's not all. Silverstein had also taken out a massive insurance policy on the entire complex. The kicker? It specifically covered terrorism. When the dust settled, Silverstein was awarded a staggering $4.5 billion. It's a deal that many believe might have been one of the biggest insurance frauds in history. Could it have been coincidence or something much darker?
I've noticed something a bit strange about these LA fires everyone's been tagging me at. The first weird thing that I noticed is that insurance companies dropped fire coverage 3 months before the fire started. And many people have reported electrical wires from the power grid causing these fires. And of course, the water supply has been cut off. And don't you think it's a bit weird in this picture that all of the trees stay standing but the houses aren't? Of course, this is for educational purposes only, and I'm not claiming anything. And then we go to Google and type in 2028 Smart LA City. What a coincidence they want to build a smart city in LA. And of course, it's a lot easier to build a whole city if there's no buildings there? Of course, this is just for educational purposes only, and I hope everyone is safe over there. Thank you.
Several years, Los Angeles will be host to the World Cup, and then the Super Bowl, and then the Olympics. With this rebuilding effort needing to take place, is LA going to be ready for all of those global events?
My humble position, and it's not just being naively optimistic, that only reinforces the imperative moving quickly, doing in the spirit of collaboration and cooperation. President of the United States, Donald Trump, to his credit, was helpful in getting the Olympics to the United States of America, to get it down here in LA. We thank him for that. Leaders, we're already talking to civic leaders, we're already talking to business leaders and nonprofits, we're talking to labor leaders. We're starting to organize how we can put together a collection of individuals on philanthropy for recovery, how we can organize the region, how we can make sure that we are seeking federal assistance for the Olympics more broadly, but also federal assistance for the recovery efforts, and how we can galvanize the community with folks that love this community to really develop a mindset so that at scale we're dealing with the scope of this tragedy and responding to it at scale with efficiency, like the executive order I talked about, time value of delivering projects, addressing building codes, addressing permitting issues, and moving forward to rebuilding and being more resilient.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated.
Does it frustrate anybody else that we're not allowed to talk about what's really going on in our world? We're not allowed to talk about what's actually unfolding behind closed doors. We can't talk about Maui. We can't talk about North Carolina, and soon we won't be able to talk about LA. We're not supposed to know about the flood insurance that was canceled before North Carolina, and we're not supposed to know about the fire insurance that was canceled before LA. We can't talk about the color blue. And we definitely can't talk about the cities that are coming. We are not allowed to talk about what is really going on in our world. We can't talk about the shipping containers. We can't talk about why celebrities always look so young. We can't talk about what happens in the tunnels, and we definitely can't talk about what happens every single day beneath our feet. We can't talk about what is really going on in our world. Our world is not as it seems. Everybody that you see, that you look up to, our politicians, our celebrities, Hollywood, is not as it seems. Evil is running this world. And it is soon coming to a head, and Satan will step out onto center stage. The beast system is getting set up right in front of our eyes, and we are not allowed to talk about it.
Look into this California Palisades fire, the more it seems planned, and I want to go over 3 things as to why I think this. Number 1, none of the fire hydrants had water in it.
No water in the hydrants. 17.6 million cut from the fire department. Karen Bass, a recent headline, I think you might have tweeted that out from the...
That's
I caused it to rain upon
Number
one
2,
city,
the insurance
caused it
companies
not to rain
removed
upon
fire
another
damage from the
One
insurance
piece was rained upon,
before
and
this.
the piece whereupon it rained not with it. So 2 or 3 cities wandered unto one city to drink water.
We're going through this, and it just happened, and they have no fire insurance. So, thank you, California insurance companies.
That's also suspicious, and with those 2 things being said, it leads me into the smart cities. Look at this before and after video.
Okay, I guess let's park along this street, yeah? And then, Dave, if you can, just go ahead of us and try to set up a signal.
Right here. This is where it's gotta be. This is, oh my God. What? I've never, look at this.
So with that being said, my main assumption here is that they removed the fire insurance and they also cut off the water in the fire hydrants, all to rebuild a smart city in those areas because of the 2030 agenda that they're preparing for in the next 4 years, which deals with AI, smart cars, and digital currency.
Alright guys, so I came back to see if we can get to my house out here. Let's see what they have to say. The military is about to come speak to me. You guys will hear the truth. How you doing, brother? Good. I live right here. Just want to go to my house.
Unfortunately, we can't let anybody through. It's a hard closure.
Why is that?
Because there's an evacuation order. We can't let anybody through unless you're a contractor, first responder, somebody supporting the first responders.
I'm a contractor, and I also live here.
But are you working to support the fire? Like, what do you doing?
I would love to support the fire, but I'm a general contractor.
Do you have credentials saying that you're supposed to be here?
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So we've been evacuated about almost a week ago. We've been homeless, no home. We've noticed that you guys are here, the military.
Right.
There is no fire by my house as I see the fire is out. So maybe my house has been burned down already. Maybe it hasn't. At my risk, I want to go there and see it. If I burn down, it's okay. I'm fine with that. Why is that a no?
I don't know the why. I'm just going to tell you that we have orders not to let anybody through.
Can you bring him for a sec? I want to ask him a question.
You want to ask him a question?
Yes.
That's fine. You can.
So today we're going to hit on why you should opt out of a smart meter. And here's an example right here. You know these Palisade fires going on in California? Check this. Then let's take a listen at the PG&E meter reader and what he says about smart meters.
If they do catch on fire, then they are remotely turned back on.
Interesting. Then I decided to do a little digging on who has the most smart meters in the country. California, 13 million units on 14 million houses. So if smart meters catch fire, this would lead to wildfires all the time. So then it turned out to be true. Check this out. Crisis averted, Ontario smart meter explodes next to gas line. Think about that. Smart meter was burned on the house. And this is where it gets crazy. Smart meter catches fire, utility company denies homeowner's damage claim. Isn't that interesting with the insurance being removed a couple months prior? Look at this one. Smart meters linked to 13 fires in Ontario. Fire marshal says, seems like a lot of people know about these fires caused by these meters. And here's another one where it talks about they can't handle severe weather. Interesting in PG&E. And it's interesting because YouTube has wiped a lot of this off the internet, but here's a smart meter starting on fire, and then the whole house goes up in flames. Interestingly enough, some of the houses in Los Angeles didn't catch fire that didn't have a smart meter, but the ones with the smart meter
pre-positioned 120 engines, helicopters, dozers, water tenders. We did that on Sunday, 2 days before this event.
To rebuild these communities back and rebuild them better than they were when we started this
shall
fire.
not keep silence. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous round about him. He shall call to the heavens from above, and to the earth, that he may judge his people.
We're specific. There's a hidden secret about the color blue that scientists don't want you to know. Blue objects appear blue because they reflect blue light and absorb all other colors.
To be called Humvees. There was a man standing in the back. They were wearing very unusual outfits, by the way. They were wearing black uniforms and blue ball caps or blue helmets. The man that was standing in the back here was wearing a blue helmet. There was a big radio antenna or some sort of a device here and a flag on the other side, and this guy was standing up here and it looked like he had some big gun standing here. These guys were everywhere. Another thing I was able to see is I was able to look inside of here, and on the inside of there was a what I know now to be a laptop type of computer.
But here's where it gets interesting. Lasers work by focusing a lot of energy into a specific color of light. If an object doesn't absorb much energy at that color, it's less likely to heat up and burn. So blue objects, which reflect blue light, don't absorb much energy from blue lasers. They're practically laser-proof. And here's the conspiracy. Have you noticed that many roofs in China are being painted blue? It seems that Chinese residents are being told something they aren't. Will these blue roofs prevent houses from being burned down by laser? Could it be that they know something we don't? Are they preparing for a future where lasers play a crucial role? Join the conversation. Why is China painting their roofs blue?
Book of Jeremiah.
chapter 7.
Simpsons predicted the future shot by shot because we're part of the Illuminati.
Stand in the gate of the Lord's house and proclaim there this word, and say, Hear
The
the
key to
word of the
Boeing's
Lord, all ye
compact
of
laser
Judah,
weapon
that
system
enter in at
is to
these gates
focus
to worship
energy
the
on a
Lord.
spot small enough to heat up and damage a target.
A successful laser weapon can burn through strong materials remarkably fast with virtual silence.
Think of it like a welding torch being put on target, but from many hundreds of meters away.
Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor?
Swear falsely and burn incense unto Baal, and walk after other gods whom ye know not, and come and stand before me in this house which is called by my name, and say, We are delivered to do all these abominations.
We will rebuild.
Is this house which is called by my name
Urgent investigation into a series of smart meter explosions.
A neighbour had a fire around his smart meter caused by lightning or falling trees.
cast out by the river of Gozan and in the cities of the Medes. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their God, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh king of Egypt, and had feared other gods, and walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel, which they had made. Power of the watchmen to the burnt incense in all idols, whereof the Lord burnt power of the watch. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord their God. And they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. And they set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen whom the Lord carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger. For they served idols, whereof the Lord had said unto them, Ye shall not do this thing. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, Turn ye from your evil ways, and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks, like to the neck of their fathers, that did not believe in the Lord their God. And they rejected his statutes, and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them. And they followed vanity, and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Lord had charged them that they should not do like them. And they left all the commandments of the Lord their God, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the host of heaven, and served Baal. They caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only.
I seem to find a pattern.
Also,
And I don't know if you've seen this picture or this video. Or this video where things from the other fire west of LA, the blue things didn't seem to want to burn. None of them. Which brings us to this video, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen, where a certain color doesn't seem to be impacted by that directed light. Which brings us to US patent number 103378. You can see the rest, but click on it, and what do we have? I'm not even going to say it up there, but you can read, and you can click, and you can read, and you can scroll. Go look for yourself. I'll tell you one thing I probably know for sure, though, is I bet a lot of the elites in that area, I bet none of them lost their lives. I bet they had some advanced warning of what was coming. But of course, all this is just speculation and satire, and I don't even know if that is CGI, AI, or what, but if I were you, I'd use my noggin and research more myself.
What the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark, and a thick cloud of incense went up. Then said he unto me, Son of man, and in the midst.
How the Palisades fires really started.
My name's Mickey Mace, and the government is lighting LA on fire.
Why was there no water in the hydrants, Governor? If I fill the hydrants, I would fill them up personally, you know.
Rebuild these communities back and rebuild them better than they were when we started this fire.
We're already organizing a Marshall Plan. We already have a team of looking and reimagining LA 2.0, and we're making sure everyone's included.
Know that many environmentalists right now that climate change is playing some of these fires.
Of them stood Jaazaniah, the son of Shaphan, with every man his censer in his hand, and a thick cloud of incense went up.
Right here, we're looking into the Thousand Oaks area. Actually, yeah, this is the north end of the Thousand Oaks area. Looking for any damage in here, but it doesn't look like fire got into this area. This is to the, actually right up the edge there. It's a little bit of fire came down. Oh, we got a house right there. And multiple houses down here in Oak Park. You see right there. It's the ones that back up to the interface. And that's 12 o'clock. Yeah, you're... Okay, yeah, I see it now. It's Lindero Canyon I see there. So, yeah, trying to get oriented here from so high up and very little visibility outward to where I can get my references. But you can see here the damage. Houses on either side, still standing, but the one right there is completely gone. And it got into these houses in the back. I got that one house right there. In fact, that's one we were watching last night. Yeah, we were watching this one last night.
Then said he unto me, Son of man, hast thou seen what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark, every man in the chambers of his imagery? For they say, The Lord seeth us not, the Lord hath forsaken the earth. He said also unto me, Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations that they do. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was toward the north, and behold, there sat women, weeping for Tammuz. Then said he unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations than these. And he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house, and behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs toward the temple of the Lord, and their faces toward the east, and they worshipped the sun toward the east. Then he said unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Is it a light thing to the house of Judah, that they commit the abominations which they commit here? For they have filled the land with violence, and have returned to provoke me to anger. Lo, they put the branch to their nose. Therefore will I also deal in fury.
What is that?
Mine eyes shall not spare, neither will I have pity. And though they cry in mine ears with a loud voice, yet will I not hear them.
That is laser. And on the screen you can see what they often use that for, I'm sure. Apparently this is coming from Daywalker 378. But we got more on this. Check this out.
Lord, put I my trust. How say ye to my soul, Flee as a bird to your mountain, for lo, the wicked bend their bow. They make ready their arrow upon the string, that they may privily shoot at the upright in heart. If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? The Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes behold. His eyelids try the children of men. The Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence.
I don't know if you're paying attention lately. There's a lot of natural disasters. Everything that you see, for example, the floods in Australia that happened recently. Everything you see there is man-made. For them to create a tsunami, it's very simple. If you remember, we spoke about EMP, EMLP. That's the technology that they have. You could use nuclear bombs to create tsunamis. Look what happened in Tonga a few months ago. We were supposed to get a tsunami on the east coast of the United States, especially New York Harbor to Boston Harbor. Talking about a tsunami that the world never heard or seen before.
His soul hateth. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire, and brimstone, and an horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup.
Madam Vice President, I know you're directly affected, so you fire away. No pun intended.
Indeed.
The righteous Lord loveth righteousness. His countenance doth behold the upright.
No pun intended.
Indeed.
Begin laser ignition sequence.
Begin laser ignition!
You've seen them in Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, and dozens of science fiction and fantasy stories. But laser weapons are just make-believe, right?
Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station. Fire at will, Commander.
Well, maybe not. Energy weapons are real, and they're a lot more powerful than the novelty laser pointers that you're probably familiar with. Though they might not look like you imagine them. Back in the 1980s, the Reagan administration's Strategic Defense Initiative hoped to build a fleet of laser-equipped satellites that could shoot down Cold War missile threats. The program's ambition outstretched its technology at the time, and it was eventually shut down in 1993. But now, decades later, we're finally catching up to the idea, just on a little smaller of a scale. So, yes, laser weapons are real. Take the US Navy's LAWS laser system, for instance. This experimental 30 kilowatt solid-state laser was installed on the USS Ponce in 2014. It's a real, fully operational directed energy weapon. And while it doesn't shoot out brightly colored blasts of energy like you might have seen in movies or TV shows, this invisible laser weapon still packs quite a punch. In tests, the Navy has used it to detonate explosives from a distance, burn out the engines of approaching boats, and have even used it to shoot down small, unmanned aerial aircraft. It's not even hard to use. When the Navy first showed this laser off, Rear Admiral Matthew Clunder told reporters that anyone who could play Xbox or PS4 games could use the USS Ponce's new energy weapon with ease. And not only is it an effective, undetectable weapon, but because there's no explosives, propellant, or gunpowder, it's safer to operate than traditional weapons. It's more affordable, too. Destroying or disabling a target with a traditional missile can cost thousands of dollars, but LAWS can be fired for just 59 cents per shot. And the USS Ponce's energy weapon is just the beginning. Lockheed Martin has been working to help the Navy develop its next directed energy weapon system, the high-energy laser with integrated optical dazzler and surveillance, or Helios for short. It's a 60 kilowatt laser, twice as powerful as the LAWS weapon. That's not a huge leap forward in laser technology, but it's enough for Lockheed Martin to start envisioning what a true next-generation laser system might look like. From systems that integrate Helios lasers with existing radar and targeting systems to eliminate threats at sea, to developing tactical airborne laser pods that can be mounted on military jets.
Arm the laser!
Arming the laser!
Attention!
Laser arm!
Now at 11, 16 people confirmed dead in the California wildfires as new evacuations are ordered.
Paradise Lost
The burning of LA is not just a natural disaster, it's a man-made catastrophe.
Tonight, new fears the massive fires will only continue to grow.
The fires have consumed an area larger than San Francisco.
Our top priority remains saving lives and protecting property.
As Saturday wore on, winds picked up again, heightening concern that the wildfire, already the most destructive in LA history, could move to more densely populated areas.
Ground crews and aerial assets worked through the night in the Mandeville Canyon area, creating containment lines, protecting structures, continuing a full suppression effort.
Homes here in the Mandeville Canyon have burned as the Palisades fire rages on for hours with no clear end in sight.
When we first started out in this area about an hour ago, the air was relatively clear. Now the wind has shifted and now we're back in the smoke.
LA's police chief says a new task force will investigate the cause of the catastrophic fires.
Physical health first before we embark upon what is going to be a journey to rebuild these communities back and rebuild them better than they were when we started this fire. When we started this fire.
So you fire away. No pun intended.
Indeed.
I'm fire when ready.
For the spirit of whoredoms hath caused them to err, and they have gone a whoring from under their God. They sacrifice upon the tops of the mountains, and burn incense upon the hills, under oaks and poplars and elms, because the shadow thereof is good. Therefore your daughters shall commit whoredom, and your spouses shall commit adultery. I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom, nor your spouses when they commit adultery. For themselves are separated with whores, and they sacrifice with harlots. Therefore the people that doth not understand shall fall. O thou, Israel, play the harlot, yet let not Judah offend. And come not ye unto Gilgal, neither go ye up to Bethaven. Root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like to a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is the least of all seeds. But when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof. Another parable spake he unto them, the kingdom of heaven is like unto leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal, till the whole was leavened. All these things spake Jesus unto the multitude in parables, and without a parable spake he not unto them, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables, I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. Then Jesus sent the multitude away, and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. He answered and said unto them, he that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun. And I heard, as it were the noise of thunder, one of the four was given unto him, and he went forth, conquering. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say,
415,000 low-orbit satellites. Bill Gates says his 65,000 satellites alone will be able to look at every square inch of the planet 24 hours a day. They're putting in 5G to harvest our data and control our behavior. Digital currency that will allow them to punish us from a distance and cut off our food supply.
A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, Come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for the testimony.
6G's actually been out for a while.
Really?
Yeah. They can measure EEG waves, like phones can measure EEG waves. And that basically can borderline read thoughts. It's the reason why you can get an ad for something and like you were thinking about it. 5G couldn't penetrate deep enough into the cell. And that's why, so what would happen is when all these towers were put up, you'd see kids that were, they would get burns underneath their skin just because the graphene cooks them from the inside out. What I've been explaining to people is your body's a liquid crystal, and a crystal is basically an antenna. So you have hundreds of thousands of millions of crystals in your body, and that's how your body communicates with itself. So how do they shut these things down? Heavy metals.
Destruction biologique, il y a plus que les tempêtes organisées par les champs électromagnétiques. Il y a également la pollution que nous mettrons dans le sang et dans les veines de l'humanité en créant des infections. Et ensuite de ça, ayant créé ces infections volontairement, on créera des lois qui obligera la population à se faire donner des vaccins. Et dans ces vaccins, il y aura tout ce qu'il faut pour que vous puissiez être contrôlés. On introduira dans ces vaccins des cristaux liquides. Ces cristaux se logeront dans les cellules de votre cerveau et ils deviendront des micro-récepteurs à des champs électromagnétiques envoyés par des ondes d'ultrasoniques à très très basse fréquence. Et avec ces ondes à très basse fréquence, on pourra vous empêcher de penser. On pourra faire de vous des zombies. Et n'allez pas croire que je suis au stage où je pense, ou c'est l'hypothèse, ce que je vous compte, c'est fait. Souvenez-vous du Rwanda.
So how do they shut these things down? Heavy metals. Things that are improper. Disrupts the communication between the body. Consumption. Economic functions shut down. It's so simple. But they overcomplicate it and then
Mr. President, do you have a reaction to the new Time magazine cover that has Elon Musk sitting behind your resolute desk?
タイムマガジンにイーロン・マスクが大統領の机の後ろで座っている写真がありますけども、それに関するコメントは何かありますか?
Is Time magazine still in business? I didn't even know that.
まだタイムマガジンは廃刊じゃないんですか?
Elon is doing a great job. He's finding tremendous fraud and corruption and waste.
This is an artificial baby. This is a newly advanced technology through which babies will be created in the laboratory. Scientists predict in the future, with this new technology, we will be able to create 30,000 artificial babies in 1 year. According to scientists, they have the ability choosing the baby's eye color, hair color, skin tone, physical strength, height, and level of intelligence. With this new technology, the perfect human being can be created artificially. This technology was invented in 1984, and according to scientists, the United States military in the next 10 years will be creating babies in multiple secret laboratories throughout the United States of America. What is the reason for doing this? Why keep it secret from the public?
Did you see it? The pendant of an Omega symbol with an eye in the center, worn by none other than Elon Musk. On the surface, it's just jewelry, but it's something more than that. The Omega, the end of the Greek alphabet, often represents finality, the last chapter, or the ultimate limit. And then there's the eye, the all-seeing eye, a symbol famously associated with the elite, the pyramid eye, their mark of control and surveillance.
I don't think so.
This is ridiculous. It's been over half an hour. I tell you, the guy's a nut job.
Stop it, Gordon. No, hand me the phone again.
For the spirit of whoredoms have caused them to err, and they have gone a-whoring from under their God. They sacrifice upon the tops of the mountains, and burn incense upon the hills, under oaks and poplars and elms, because the shadow thereof is good. Therefore your daughters shall commit whoredom, and your spouses shall commit adultery. I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom, nor your spouses when they commit adultery. For themselves are separated with whores, and they sacrifice with harlots. Therefore the people that doth not understand shall fall. Though thou, Israel, play the harlot, yet let not
the kind
Judah
of applications
offend.
that we're building.
And come not ye unto Gilgal,
idea,
neither go ye up to Bethaven.
And the one that I think touches us all is electronic health records, not just maintaining electronic health records, but by looking at electronic health records, understanding the condition, which is our first location. The kind of applications that we're building, to give you an idea, maybe the most charismatic and the one that I think touches us all is electronic health records, not
electronic health records. Okay.
Just maintaining electronic health records, but by looking at electronic health records, understanding the condition of doctors, better understanding the condition of their patients, and being able to provide healthcare plans that are much better than they otherwise would be. A doctor in River Reservation would be able to see how a doctor at Memorial Sloan Kettering would treat the patient, or a doctor at Stanford would treat the patient. We actually provide all of that information, all of that guidance to the doctors who are treating cancer patients or patients with any other kind of disease, made possible by AI.
And then, in the meantime, Elon Musk just changes his name. So Elon changed his name to Kekius, which is a demonic god of darkness. He's also wearing Roman garb because he's anticipating the revived Roman Empire, also known as the Beast System. Hey, you know, the same guy who dressed up in his Satan outfit for Halloween, he now calls himself Kekius after the demonic god of darkness. So I've seen so many people posting how they're just in love with Elon Musk. He's such a hero now. It's like, oh, you have no idea what's going to happen. Kek, the Egyptian god, symbolism, origin, and depictions. Kek is an ancient Egyptian god symbolizing darkness and obscurity, often depicted as a frog-headed figure. In partnership with his consort, Khafet, They represent primordial darkness. In modern times, Kek ironically symbolizes the far-right movement. Yeah, Elon Kek, the Egyptian god of darkness. Looks like dark MAGA will rise in 2025. All while he completely mocks us, clearly showing who he is and who he aligns himself with. Backed and supported by the Antichrist spirit, we are witnessing the beast system going live.
This guy right here is mocking us as we continue to see his obsession with ancient Egyptian deities as he changed his name on X to Kekios Maximus. And as we can see right here, he replies to a New York Post article on his name change with the reply, Kek. And I guess it's just a coincidence that Kek is the Egyptian god of darkness. And as we can see right here, the image of Kek is a frog-headed god. As we see from one of the greatest propaganda accounts on X, Doge Designer, he asked Grok to generate an image of Elon looking into a mirror, and what does he see? He sees Kek, the frog-headed deity. I mean, I'm sure there's no significance at all to this, and I guess it's just a coincidence how the Illuminati playing card game that came out in the 90s had a card after the frog god. And as we can read, the idols are both frightening and silly. The silly part here really sticks out because apparently Kek is also slang for LOL or ha ha ha, and that is because he is mocking and laughing straight at us.
Various issues just before we started. You said you were up till 4 in the morning?
Yeah, so, actually a little more like 5 in the morning, but okay. We got the XAI data center or supercomputer center training from beginning installation to start of training in 19 days, which is the fastest that anyone has ever gotten a supercomputer to train.
And is that in that new building off the side?
That's in Memphis, actually.
It's in Memphis?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's where you were?
Yeah.
I see.
Memphis, the capital of ancient Egypt.
Right. Yeah, you're bringing what?
Perhaps that's where our new god will come from.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah, I wish that was funny. Yeah, okay, so I want to talk to you about alignment.
I wish that was funny.
Yeah,
right.
You know how people say life doesn't feel real ever since 2020?
Yeah.
Well, look, it's because it isn't. For the decades leading up to 2020, there was something going on that the general public never could have expected. Certain aspects of our technology weren't only just providing services for us, they were planning a dramatic shift of consciousness. Google Earth, for the last 25 years, has been creating a completely digitized, three-dimensional blueprint of the entire planet, a perfect database of 3D tracked images of what our external world looks like. While all of our devices that were inside the home, riddled with cameras, have been slowly building back-end digitized replicas of what our households look and feel like. Silently, this siphoned visual information was being harnessed to build a massive digitized replica of our world inside and out, a kind of complex virtual reality that perfectly mimics the real one. Our digital footprints were used to create hyper-realistic digital avatars in this world that look and feel just like us. This virtual reality was being prepared for us to step into.
Okay, wait. Even if they made this digital replica of the Earth, how would they put us in there without us knowing?
Our cell towers are essentially riddled with high-powered neural transmitters, which, with properly pressurized electromagnetic field disbursement, could be used to target the consciousness in every individual within range and essentially absorb the consciousness out of the body and relocate it theoretically even into a digital environment. This process is called a snapshot conscious swap. It can...
Elon Musk, Mr. Free Speech Absolutist, is putting up an electromagnetic brain to which humanity will be connected to. One of the activities that was considered essential was putting up 5G towers everywhere. But you can only go so far with towers. So how do you do it? From low orbit satellites. And that's exactly what is going on. SpaceX has got permission for 12,000 of these satellites, and there's applications in for another 30,000, and that won't be the end either. Amazon is in there as well. Believe what you like, it's happening.
Together, these world-leading technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate, announcing the formation of Stargate, announcing the formation of Stargate, announcing the formation of Stargate. So put that name down in your books, because I think you're going to hear a lot about it in the future. A new American company that will invest $500 billion at least in AI infrastructure in the United States, and very, very quickly, moving very rapidly through emergency declarations, because we have an emergency. We have to get this stuff built. So they have to produce a lot of electricity, and we'll make it possible for them to get that production done very easily at their own plants if they want. But it's technology and artificial intelligence.
Stargate is something that I've been hearing a lot about. I see people when Stargate gets brought up, and I see a lot of this. I don't think people know what Stargate is. I don't know what Stargate is. So could you give us a quick brief on what the Stargate program is?
Stargate program, from my understanding, and I'm still doing a lot of research into it because it's very prevalent in our community and impacting our children, so it's very important that people understand that. The Stargate program, as I experienced it, was I would get removed from the standard curriculum classroom in my grammar school and would be brought to the library. At the time, they weren't really explaining to us what was going on. It was just very bizarre to me. In my research since then, I've discovered that it was the Robert Monroe Institute's protocols for remote viewing that we were being trained in. I was given eye drops, unbeknownst to my parents, and it's my understanding that it was some sort of hybrid LSD that was very fast acting as well as fast wearing off.
The Stargate Project, a secret army unit established during the Cold War in order to study psychic research for military purposes. This involved remote viewing, or the ability to see certain events from a great distance away, like 11 from Stranger Things. The researchers used methods to make clairvoyance and out-of-body experiences more scientific. It was reported that there were over 22 remote viewers providing data. The project was terminated in 1995 and featured in the book and film The Men Who Stare at Goats.
Project Stargate was started in 1978. It was based at Fort Meade, Maryland, and it was a collaboration between the U.S. Army and a research institute based in Stanford, California, SRI, the Stanford Research Institute. Stargate was about locating individuals who had the ability to see or hear or somehow sense
Now we see the creation of a new massive class of useless people. As computers become better and better in more and more fields, there is a distinct possibility that computers will outperform us in most tasks and will make humans redundant. And then the big political and economic question of the 21st century will be, what do we need humans for? Or at least, what do we need so many humans for?
Do you have an answer in the book?
At present, the best guess we have is keep them happy with drugs and computer games.
The energy on average for each service and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy. So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. That's back from high school algebra. But let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
What do you see as the biggest challenges in conservation?
The growing human population. Because where we are, there's nothing else.
And do you have views about what should be done about that?
Patrick, yes.
The New World Order is not coming to America. It's here. From the day that Satan was kicked out of heaven for his rebellion against God Almighty, he has attempted to establish a new world order that would totally rebel against the spiritual authority of God. How does this apply to America? Every $1 bill in your pocket has the word New World Order printed beneath the pyramid. The words are Novus Ordo Seclorum, which means New World Order. The fact, the anarchists in the streets of America who are killing policemen, who are burning major cities to the ground, are highly organized. They have unlimited funding. They have trained leadership who wants to destroy the democracy of America. There are many churches in America who are doing their best to accommodate the world. We're not here to accommodate the world. We're here to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. We're not trying to be like the world. We are the light of the world. Be of good cheer. The King of Kings is coming. It's Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God. Lift up your heads and rejoice. The King is coming.
I take it you're the problem of the population explosion.
We just passed the 200 million mark ourselves, as you remember, last week, and I am told that within 38 years we will have another 100 million here. And the figure for the world is roughly doubling by the end of this century, a figure approaching 7 billion in the world as a whole. Family planning, population control as a negative force. My own belief, and it's a very strong belief, is that it's just the opposite, that population stabilization means the enrichment of life for people. It means the quality of life for them can be greatly raised and improved. Or to put it in human terms, to me, the problem comes back to human dignity, to the attainment of each individual of self-fulfillment, and that those will only be fully possible if family planning is carried out on a worldwide basis.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rockefeller.
The negative impact of population growth on all of our planetary ecosystems is becoming appallingly evident.
I just left the room where we had the negotiations about the digital identity, and I have bad news. The member states and the European Parliament came to an agreement. It means that probably not far from now, the digital identity will be effect in the European Union. Right after this agreement, Commissioner Breton said, now we have the digital identity wallet, we have to put something in it. And what he meant was the digital euro, also known as the central bank digital currency. And this is a very bad development. They always promise us not to make this connection. And even a lot of experts, privacy experts and security experts, warned also last week this is a very bad idea for our privacy and our freedom.
Nazis used trains to transport prisoners to concentration camps all over the region. A one-way in, no way out scenario. That's why many around America began to raise awareness when more and more three-story freight cars were appearing on railroad tracks. Now, many in the train industry and many who are unfamiliar with it would say that there is nothing suspicious about these freight cars whatsoever. There are freight cars today and in the past that transport motor vehicles all over the country. Sure, they converted the usual two-story freight car to three-story freight cars in this particular example, but most people today would look at that as productive. What caught the attention of investigators and researchers is the fact that the trains, like the one you are about to see here, have been modified over the recent years. Some now have windows, and anyone will tell you that cars and trucks don't need windows for light, or for air, or for scenic views, for anything.
Why they got a train that's got 3 levels with little windows in it? Huh? FEMA trains, people right here in our own city. What else are they? Look how long that train is. It goes both ways. You got 3 levels, little windows. Tell me what that is. Prison train? Those ain't for hauling cars. You don't put cars in something like that. Look, they're connected together. Connected together so you can pass through 2 cars. People, wake up. FEMA trains right here in our own city, people. 70 mile an hour. Let's see how long we stay next to these. Yeah, that's where we are. Come on out and look at it. Soon. Every one of these trains, they're dual cars connected in the middle. Connected in the middle.
Tape 3 of the videotape deposition of Bill Gates.
If he didn't like what you said, he would, he was known for responding with the words,
"Well, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard."
That's ridiculous. I'm not using this thing. No. Somebody's confused. Somebody's just not thinking. I mean, there's no way.
We'll figure it out.
You guys never understood. You never understood the first thing about this.
He's a multi-dimensional individual. He has great depth in so many different areas.
Hi, kids.
You had a number of meetings with Jeffrey Epstein.
Well, he's dead, so, in general, you always have to be careful. Today we're announcing a commitment over this next decade, which we think of as a decade of vaccines. The vaccine is critical because until you have that, things aren't really going to be normal. And it won't be normal until we get an amazing vaccine to the entire world. And for all 193 member states, you must make vaccines a high priority in your health systems to ensure that all your children have access to existing vaccines now and to the new vaccines that have recently become available. And keeping children alive, would that create more of a population problem?
Shall come and shall not keep silence. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous round about him. He shall call to the heavens from above, and to the earth, that he may judge his people.
So during 2016, I'd been working.
Well, it was
for the
2015, Joni. It was actually December 2015.
It was 2015. Thank you. Anyways, so I needed a job really bad, and I couldn't find one. And finally, one came up. It wound up being a concierge at a elitist Masonic club. I did not know that it was an elitist Masonic club. It was a platinum club in Newport Beach, and I had no idea what it was. I just wanted a job. When I walked out after the interview, I saw the big brass plate with the hand shaking. I was like, oh no. Anyways, long story short, God kept me working there. They paid me well. It was a difficult job. This club has White House staff that go through it all every day. I've met a lot of Congress people, that kind of thing. It was absolutely normal to have Secret Service come to my desk often. They don't say anything to you. They just come up. My name is so-and-so. I'm Capitol Police. I'm going to be sitting in that chair right over there. I'll be here for approximately 3 hours. And you learn right away. I learned right away. You don't talk to them. Like the first time, Tony, I said, because it felt awkward. And I said, may I offer you a beverage? And he glared at me. And I realized, and from then on, they don't talk to you. If anybody knows any Secret Service agents, you will know they do not talk to you. Okay. And they vibe you out hard. In fact, I dreaded when they would be in there. So one day, Secret Service agent, like any others, come to my desk, introduces himself. But here was the difference. He comes to the desk and says, my name is so-and-so. I'm Capitol Police. I'm going to be sitting on that chair right over there. I say what I typically say, okay, thank you. And he stays there. And he says, so how are you doing tonight? And I felt nervous, to be honest with you, and scared because you know why, Tony? Because back then I was a co-host on A Minute to Midnight, and I thought, oh, they probably did some background check and they're checking on me. But I was like, I'm fine. And so he starts talking about restaurants in the area. And this was nerve-wracking because I didn't know what was happening. So he asks me a question. So who do you think is going to be the next president? Well, I didn't know what to say, so I kind of played coy. And I said, oh, well, I don't know. I mean, it could be Donald Trump. And he said, oh, it will be Donald Trump. I go, it will? And he says, yeah. He said, he was chosen 2 years ago. We all know it. And I go, oh, okay. And then he said, you can ask me any question that you want. And I go, I can? And he said, yeah, you can ask me anything. So I asked him, what was up with those Jade Helm, Jade Helm 15, Jade Helm 16 things, right? I'm not going to go through everything he said, but I'm going to say, because this will take me directly to the one thing that I want to get to. So he said, what do you think they are? And I said, I don't know, civilian population control exercises. And he said, that's exactly what it is. And I said, okay, so let me ask you, is there going to be martial law? And he said, yes. He said, but it's not going to be what you think. It's not going to be like all of a sudden the whole United States is locked down. It'll start in big cities and it'll fan off into smaller cities. He said, do you know why? And I go, no, I don't have any idea. And he said, because when Trump gets into office, he is going to enact a radical immigration sweep that will cause chaos. I forgot, it was so long ago, but he told me, he said, it's going to cause cities to like melt down. And that's when that will happen. Now, okay, so after he finished his last term, so that's the end of that story. I don't want to go into everything else.
Yeah, well, let's just put people need, that was in December 2015.
Yes.
So that was almost a year before Trump had his first presidency, and he told you that Trump was going to be the next president, no doubt. And there is more to the story than that, but for sake of time, yeah.
So then after Trump left office, I thought to myself, because there's other things he said that did happen. And I said, well.
And we did cover this, by the way. We talked about this in.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'm glad you said that. So I thought, well, that never happened. He tried to build a wall and that failed. And so I went on. And now look what's happening. Look at what's happening with immigration. He said he wants 1 million people deported within 18 months. He's trying to get a ton of stuff done within 18 months. But here we are again. So the point is who was that Secret Service agent? Why did he tell me that? How did he know? I mean, because no Secret Service agents talk to you. I'm telling you, they want nothing to do with you. They let you know. And so when he said he was chosen 2 years ago, so if you go 2 years back from 2015, you're looking at 2013 that he's saying, and he said, we all know. He goes, we all know.
This.
I couldn't figure out why little X was holding up a pentagram the other day, but then the secret came out when I looked at where that airplane crashed. And that's next on the trumpet. That crash site was right in front of where they keep the president's helicopter, right in front of the Secret Service, right in front of the Department of Homeland Security, and right at the end of runway 33. The presidential helicopter is stored right there. The Department of Defense is right there. And this all happened right in the backyard of the Secret Service. Let's get a little closer to that. That's a 5-sided star called a pentagram. That's the Secret Service star right there. So that's how Washington's laid out. Little Freemason thing. I'm sure 33 has nothing to do with it. The very same day that Lincoln created the Secret Service in 1865, he was assassinated by a Freemason. Let's see. Since that whole thing happened on Good Friday, let me put some scripture to that for you. The New Testament tells you, for nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. And the Old Testament tells you, for God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. It breaks my heart that this happens to these beautiful people. It's no secret. He flew straight into it.
And they just conducted their next pandemic tabletop exercise in Belgium. It's called the Catastrophic Contagion. Hey, honey, where are you going this weekend? Oh, I'm going to Belgium. I got a conference. Oh, yeah, what's it about? It's called the Catastrophic Contagion event. Oh, what are you guys going to be doing? Oh, we're just planning the next pandemic. Just getting everything ready. Getting everything ready, locked up, and the new virus and vaccines. We'll have vaccines ready to go because that's how we do this. We plan it, and then we, of course, have the vaccines ready to go. So this is the video that Bill Gates put together along with the team, complete with simulated news reports like this. This is really what they're preparing for us. This video is called Get Ready. Watch. Catastrophic contagion, a global challenge. Breaking news.
Two Latin American countries alerted the WHO of several outbreaks of a new infectious disease that's mysteriously appearing across the region. Severe Epidemic Enterovirus Respiratory Syndrome 2025.
Oh, so that's the name, guys. Just write this down. That'll be the name of it, okay? It's gonna
SEERS.
It's going to be called the Severe Epidemic Enterovirus Respiratory Syndrome, and 2025 is when we'll see it, okay? Now, it says at the bottom this is a fictional scenario, but come on.
Over the past 6 weeks alone, there have been 500 confirmed or suspected cases.
All right, I'm just going to say it. Nobody should trust Elon Musk and all his new technologies that are helping save the Earth and advance humanity. In case you missed the memo, Elon Musk just developed a new Optimus robot that can help you babysit your kids, walk your dogs, and even serve your friends. Let's not forget, he also has Neuralink, a chip that is going to be inserted into people's brains. This is only designed for people with paralysis, so it's totally safe. Literally less than 2% of the population has paralysis. Do you really think one of the richest men on Earth is developing a chip to put into people's brains just for paralysis? Elon's portfolio is humanoid robots that can watch your kids, walk your dogs, and take over society. Chips that go into your brainstem and literally give them remote access to the control of your brain, and self-drivable cars. Yeah, not suspicious, totally safe, guys. Corporations already run the world, but we still have a lot of freedom, and people don't actually understand how scary this is, because when technology takes over society more than nature, what people don't realize is the people who own that technology that is inside society, they make the rules, no longer the government. It is in their power then. This is also why General Motors is going full electric by 2035. There will not be any gas vehicles, because whether or not you choose to fit in, it will no longer be a choice. When technology takes over, you have no idea who's really behind that tech and who's running the show. Stand up, be mindful.
He layeth it low even to the ground, he bringeth it even to the dust. The foot shall tread it down, even the feet of the poor, and the steps of the needy. We waited for thee, the desire of our soul, for when thy judgments are in the make mention of thy name. Child that draweth near the time of her delivery, feast the nation, enemies shall devour them. Lord, thou wilt ordain peace for us, for thou also
The word grok is to sort of fully and profoundly understand something. Profoundly understand something.
But they shall see and be ashamed for their envy.
Grok is a word from a Heinlein novel, Stranger in a Strange Land.
Shall devour them. Lord, thou wilt ordain peace for us, for thou also hast wrought all our works in us.
It's used by a guy who was raised on Mars.
Other lords beside thee have had dominion over us, but by thee only will we make mention of thy name. They are dead, they shall not live. They are deceased, they shall not rise. Therefore hast thou visited and destroyed them, and made all their memory to perish.
probably none of us will have a job. There will be, but in that benign scenario, there will be universal high income, not universal basic income, universal high income. There will be no shortage of goods or services. And I think the benign scenario is the most likely scenario, probably, 80% likely if you ask, in my opinion. The question will not be one of lacking goods or services. You'll have, everyone will have access to as much in the way of goods and services as they would like. The question will really be one of meaning, of how, if the computer can do, and the robots can do everything better than you, then what does your life have meaning?
As a 3-time United States Digital City Award winner, the City of Los Angeles has been investing in the infrastructure, the apps, and the data tools to be a globally recognized smart city. But as technology evolves, so our smart city must evolve too. That's why we have developed our Los Angeles Smart City Strategy, known as Smart LA 2028, as a roadmap to the 2028 Summer Olympics. It includes 56 new goals that use technology to transform the way we live, work, and move around LA. Check it out here. Thank you.
All right, we got this breaking news just coming in that our governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, has absolutely lost her mind because she is now trying to implement $1 walking fees all around New York City. You know those cameras, the congestion cameras that you're paying $9 a car? Well, now she wants to charge New Yorkers now to walk around New York City to go from uptown to downtown, $1 every time you pass the cameras. And the camera is like right there. And the problem is that my girlfriend's building is like right there, just on the other side of the camera, but I don't have $1 to go through, so I can't even go see her, and she's waiting for me to get, to come home. So this is absolutely nuts, absolutely insane. I cannot believe we are continuing to pay this disgusting charge on this $9. And as long as you're going to be charged this, Kathy Hochul, make believe that you think it's about congestion and not about lining the disgusting politicians' pockets with all that money, I will continue to post this all that.
How many would it take to knock out putting the entire country in a blackout?
Less than 20.
The U.S. could suffer a coast-to-coast blackout as saboteurs knocked out just 9 substations.
So in the past decade, there have been over 700 physical attacks against the U.S. electric grid. And the U.S. public is completely unprepared to survive without the electric grid for any period of time whatsoever.
Not tomorrow, maybe never, but it's coming, and soon. Don't worry, kids. The government will help. The government cannot help itself, let alone you. I propose some kind of games, either hunger or squid.
Now you tell me, didn't Trump just bring this up?
The big problem is we need double the energy we currently have in the United States. Can you imagine? You don't have to hook into the grid, which is old and, could be taken out. If it's taken out, they wouldn't have any electricity.
They've literally put it in our faces for years and on the biggest stages.
A large blackout affecting the entire or a large portion of the United States of America. Imagine what that's like. You walk outside, you turn on your phone, there's no signal. You turn on the faucet, no water. You turn on the fridge, no refrigeration, your food starts to spoil. You walk outside, cars pile up, no street lights. Within 3 to 5 days, the food is gone from the grocery stores, and the trucks that the city counts on to resupply that food aren't coming. The sewage system starts to overflow and contaminates what remains of the water supply, and people start getting cholera. Societal order starts to break down. There's mass evacuations. The emergency responders have now left their positions like many did during Katrina to protect themselves and their own families. The unfortunate news is that the threat of such a blackout is very
build your own water filter, how to make your own solar power system, how to build a water heater.
One of the most exciting things we're working on, using the tools that Sam and Masa are providing, is a cancer vaccine. It's very interesting. It turns out, I'll be quick, all of our cancers, cancer tumors, little fragments of those tumors float around in your blood. So you can do early cancer detection. If you can do using you can do early cancer detection with a blood test. And using AI to look at the blood test, you can find the cancers that are actually seriously threatening the person. So we can, again, cancer diagnosis using AI has the promise of just being a simple blood test. Then beyond that, once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again, using AI in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for a particular cancer aimed at, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
The world of medicine has seen its share of miracle cures, from the polio heart transplants, but all past achievements may pale in comparison to the work of Dr. Alice Crippen. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Not at all.
So, Dr. Crippen, give it to me in a nutshell.
Well, the premise is quite simple. Take something designed by nature and reprogram it to make it work for the body rather than against it.
You're talking about a virus?
Indeed, yes, in this case, the measles virus, which has been engineered at a genetic level to be helpful rather than harmful. And I find the best way to describe it is if you can imagine your body as a highway and you picture the virus as a very fast car being driven by a very bad man, imagine the damage that car could cause. But then if you replace that man with a cop, the picture changes, and that's essentially what we've done.
How many people have you treated so far?
Well, we've had 10,009 clinical trials in humans so far.
And how many are cancer-free?
10,009.
So you have actually cured cancer?
Yes, yes. Yes, we have.
You now say that you want to talk about, in this year's conference in January, mastering the fourth industrial revolution.
When we look at the world today, we see governments and even business very much engaged in mastering the crisis of today, very much absorbed by crisis management. Right. But if you look into the future, there's so much going on in technology. Yeah. It's a real revolution, and our life, the pattern of governing societies will be so much affected with what's going on in research, in innovation, and we are not sufficiently prepared for it. Just look at the discussion on big data.
Yeah.
It shows how difficult it is to find the necessary rules, to find the necessary norms.
And look at things like artificial intelligence.
Exactly.
And robots. Look at things like gene editing.
Exactly.
You know, opening a whole new horizon for medical science.
And you see, the difference of this fourth industrial revolution is it doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you. If you take genetic editing, right. Just as an example, it's you who are changed. Yeah. And of course this has a big impact on your identity.
Yeah. And offers certain kinds of possibilities that have to be careful about. You know, when you began to do that kind of gene editing, some people worry that you are changing what it means to be human.
That's the problem. And of course, the new industrial revolution offers us many opportunities, but it raises manifold questions on the ethical, but even legal implications. And we have to be prepared for it, and that's what we want to do in Davos next year.
I think there's going to be a lot of breakthroughs on the medical front, particularly around synthetic mRNA. You can basically do anything with synthetic RNA, DNA. It's like a computer program. So, I think with effort, that's not too crazy. You could probably stop aging, reverse it if you want. You can basically do it. You can turn someone into a freaking butterfly if you want with the right DNA sequence.
Stage 3 nanites. I've never seen that before.
Droid DNA augmentation initiated. Vision expanding to a 5-inch 1080p HD display and camera. Touch acquiring NFC. Evolving repeats audio. Wireless charging activated.
Introducing Droid DNA by HTC. It's not an upgrade to your phone. It's an upgrade to yourself.
Remember how I said earlier in this speech that the farmers need to give up their farms before 2030, specifically that year? Yeah, so that's not a coincidence. That year doesn't come out of nowhere. So that year is basically the deadline that our global elites have given our country and will probably give you to abide by these new regulations. And that agenda is called the 2030 Agenda. And now I have a slide showing you what that entails. So the 2030 Agenda is a United Nations agenda. So there we go. Everybody is part of the United Nations, right? The entire world. And this agenda consists of 17 what they call sustainable development goals. And when you take a look at them right there, you're like, well, what's wrong with that? You know, they all seem very noble. No poverty, no hunger. Who could be against that? However, if we take a closer look at how they actually want to accomplish all of this, anybody with 2 functioning brain cells realizes that this cannot happen unless there is an active and maybe even forceful redistribution of goods, foods, property, and our rights, which basically comes down to the obliteration of all of our basic liberties and our rights. And these goals, as I said, are not restricted solely to the Netherlands. They are global. And that's where we see their true motive. The people behind this want to establish a one world government, a new world order in which they decide what we eat, when we eat, where we travel, when we travel, who we meet, and what we are allowed to spend our money on. Basically, control over every single aspect of our lives. And I'm sure that many of you have heard the famous sentence from Klaus Schwab, you know, where he says, "You'll own nothing and you'll be happy," right? Yeah, that's this agenda. So why are the people behind this agenda specifically targeting farmers? Well, it's because obviously they really want our way of life and the things that we eat to radically change. They don't want us to eat foods that make us strong. They want us to eat synthetic meat created by Bill Gates. They want us to eat bugs. They want us to drink soy milk so that we become weak and obedient, and we do as they say, and we buy what they offer.
Los Angeles is one of the cities with the heaviest traffic, who told me in 2030 Los Angeles will be private car driven free. And this will allow to transform highways into parks and
injuries. Your reaction?
Thank God they're saying it. Thank God they were brave enough to stand up to the CIA.
The Republican House report accuses the intelligence community leadership, the CIA, and the Director of National Intelligence of shaping a politically palatable conclusion.
If they're politicizing this, what else are they not telling the president? And that's scary. That's where it becomes like more real.
A decade ago, this national security memo confirmed intelligence about a high-powered microwave system weapon that may have the ability to weaken, intimidate, or kill an enemy over time. Nicknamed Havana Syndrome after a cluster of cases in Cuba, the mysterious cognitive and neurological symptoms strike diplomatic, intelligence, and military personnel.
You were attacked.
Yes.
You were attacked by an energy weapon.
Yes, a directed energy weapon. My ear started hurting. I started having vertigo. The room was spinning. My head started pulsing. Like, it hurt so badly. And I had a ton of pain in my left ear. And my ears started ringing. And I thought I was going to pass out.
The official name is Anomalous Health Incidents, or AHIs. The recent congressional report found they have been reported domestically as well as abroad, including Austria, China, Colombia, Georgia, Germany, India, Poland, Russia, and Vietnam.
I was serving in Africa, and I experienced an anomalous health incident in my home.
So I'm going to show you the new map of the United States of America. And you may not be able to see this very well. We have 50 states in the United States, but this is mega regions. Mega regions. Mega regions. Mega, large. Mega regions. These are the city-states. These are large cities that are being made larger. Now remember I told you that the gray area is the wildlands. That's going to be the area that no one will have access to. And you know, I haven't told you anything about myself. I was a legal witness, an expert witness in land use and land valuation for my government, for the State Department of Transportation. Expert witness, testified in court. And I found out about this because I saw that people were not being able to use their land. And I looked behind that and I found Agenda 21. This is true. Okay, the federal government of the United States is doing this, is in process of creating mega regions, which are essentially crossing national boundaries. This is Cascadia. It used to be a portion of Washington State, Oregon State, Idaho, and Vancouver area, British Columbia in Canada. The Southern California and Texas Triangle areas include part of Mexico. This breaks national boundaries, it breaks state boundaries. So I'm going to show you the new map of the United States of America, and you may not be able to see this very well. We have 50 states in the United States, but this is mega regions. Mega regions. Mega regions. Mega, large. Mega regions. These are the city-states.
I will be speaking about the drones. All right, as you know, I'm in the Army, the military, whatever you gonna call it. Look, we are launching the drones up in the sky as of right now in New Jersey and stuff, in Texas, everywhere. Like, y'all don't gotta be afraid. Them are man-made drones.
Okay.
And we're doing the launching or whatever. Now,
nice to know.
What you do have to be concerned of, my bad, my eye, but is the orbs that's inside the sky that y'all see that's glowing and stuff, that's shooting down the drones and all that. That's not a part of us. Them are actually real life aliens. Like, aliens do exist.
Behold a pale horse.
And they're below us. Yes, they do exist. And
above and below.
2025 there will be a lot more of exposing the truth. I can't say the reason why, but because it's already out here, so I can speak on this. Aliens are real, and we will have to evacuate sooner than later. But just be careful. Keep looking up in the sky at night. They only come at night.
President between 1913 and 1921, from the private papers of Woodrow Wilson, quote, "Very soon, every American will be required to register their biological property in a national system designed to keep track of the people, and that will operate under the ancient system of pledging. By such methodology, we can compel people to submit to our agenda, which will affect our security as chargeback for our fiat paper currency. Every American will be forced to register or suffer not being able to work and earn a living. They will be our chattel, and we will hold the security interest over them forever by operation of law merchant under the scheme of secured transactions. Americans, by unknowingly or unwittingly delivered the bills of lading to us, will be rendered bankrupt and insolvent, forever to remain economic slaves through taxation, secured by their pledges. They will be stripped of their rights and given commercial value, designated to keep us a profit that will be none the wiser.
2027. There is this mysterious book uncovered in the Vatican archives that accurately predicted each pope since the year 1143. However, that is not all that it predicted. Well, you see, the strange thing is that it says there will be one more pope after our current pope, and then it will be Judgment Day. It may sound like a creepy coincidence to you, but in St. Paul's Basilica, bordering the whole sanctuary, is a set number of markers that are meant to house the photo of each pope. The crazy thing is that the saying is once the markers are all filled up, Judgment Day will ensue. Interestingly enough, it said that it took 422 years to go from the first to the halfway mark, and considering that the middle pope was in the year 1585, it will make the end of the word in 2027. It doesn't just stop there either, because Pope John XXIII had always said that the world was going to end 2,000 years after Jesus Christ's death. And if we do the math, coincidentally, we will end up in 2027 too. So
Top 115 and hold steady. All right. It didn't blow up yet. Oh, by the way, meet the aerial film crew. I just thought this was a cool shot. Oh yeah, I'm getting shocked right now. This time I just used the electroscope as a quick voltage check. Woo! Now that's a few thousand volts right there. All right, let's see if there's enough current to make this Franklin bell work. Oh, dude! Freaking working, buddy! Yeah! It's a really cool process. The aerial wire places a positive charge on this can, which then influences the foil ball to deliver electrons from the grounded can, which is directly connected to Earth. The clouds finally opened up, so I connected up the corona motor. Like before, one side was connected to ground, while the other was attached to the aerial wire. And after just a few seconds, hey, she's spinning! This is just remarkable. It never really spun that fast, but I just sat and enjoyed the miracle. I mean, I quite literally was siphoning energy straight from the atmosphere. This motor was operating off of several kilovolts, which you could actually hear if you stopped the motor and brought your finger near the aerial wire. That's the sound of coronal discharge. Not long after, the wind started picking up, so we packed up.
This Bible from 1813 has something very interesting. It is a facts page that contains a list of people and events in chronological order. It says, whereupon we reckon that from Adam unto Christ are 3,947 years, 6 months and 10 days. And from the birth of Christ to this present year is 1814 years. Then the whole sum and number of years, from the beginning of the world unto this present year is 5,788, 6 months, and the said of it proves in the year 1814 the world really was 5,788 years old. This year, 2022, the Earth would be approximately 5,998 years old.
Here we go again, guys. So I'm in the middle of filming my daily radar that I do on my website, arianamasters.com, where I go over the entire planet, satellite radar, and also tower activity here in the US. Oh my gosh, guys. Check out what I'm seeing here. So we had, in Texas, we had this crazy activity. Texas, Louisiana, over to Georgia, the panhandle of Florida, up into South Carolina. It was just like a giant rave of zip zaps. Keep in mind, this area, it's bone dry at this time, right? And there's no moisture coming through here, and the towers are just kind of going absolutely insane simultaneously. And then they all died down simultaneously. And then something crazy happens that I've never seen firsthand. I've seen other people share this stuff. I never thought I would see it in person, but I'm about to show you guys. So all the towers kind of died down. And then at 7 p.m., they start to swell up again with this glow. Every single dot, every single area of glow here is a tower. And then at around 10 o'clock at night, I start to see this. You see these here? Well, it might not look like much, but it's about to. Look at this, guys. Look at this. It's a spiral. It looks like frequency generation. It's going all over the entire eastern seaboard and into the middle of the US. That's a wide area. Look at that, guys. And check this out. Boom, boom, boom. This is the frequency generation that we hear about in sea theories, and it's right here on radar. Look at that. I mean, are you seeing this? That is crazy, guys. And this is over, the same area that we've just seen so much crazy activity for the last couple of months. And like I said, I do these daily, I do this every single day where I do a show and I cover everything. So I know what's going on here, and all the people who watch the show know. And this area's been getting hit hard with some wacky stuff. I sent a screenshot of this too to ChatGPT. I'm like, hey, explain this. You know what it said? It said, well, it looks like maybe there's some unusual patterns of precipitation. And I said, well, no, actually, this area is bone dry. It's been bone dry, and they've had an issue with fires. It said, oh, well, you know what? It's probably migratory birds and insects.
Welcome to the New World Order. Look at this. So we're in like one of the lowest social economic areas in Sydney. They made this during COVID, during the lockdowns. They did all this, and it looks very dystopian. Camera's good. That's gonna have facial recognition one day, and then here you're gonna have to tap on like this. So it won't work. It's all conditioning, First we had the tickets that you put on the bus, you put on the train, and they went to the Opal cards. Then from the Opal cards that you tapped, it went from your phone. So now you tap with your phone. Next step is tap with the microchip. Everyone's already been conditioned with all the steps. People will just accept it, and they'll be like, oh yeah, that's just the world evolving. Building metros everywhere in the city of Sydney. So when they lock us down again and they say, oh, you can't travel 15 minutes outside, your card or your microchip at the time isn't going to let you pass through certain areas. If you have like a low social credit score, it won't let you go to like the rich areas or the nice poshy areas. Plus, mixed with the electric cars, it's like even the scooters that you hire, the bikes that you hire on the street, it doesn't let you ride in certain areas, and it just stops the bikes and the scooters from going. Wait till they do that with electric cars. All they need to do is force electric cars and then put an update in the car, and it has all that GPS tracking stuff already. And you won't even be able to tinker with the car because it's so advanced. You can't even go to proper mechanics now. You can't even change anything in electric cars because it's so advanced. Say it's convenience, no, brother, that's control.
Private information in the blink of an eye. 2 students at Harvard have created new technology that gives users access to your name, your phone number, and address just by looking at you.
Harvard University students are known for being ahead of the game, and Anfu Nguyen and Kane Ardafio are living up to the hype. The 2 juniors have created software that pairs AI facial recognition with public databases, and with a single picture can pull up a person's name, phone number, address, and digital history. It took them about a day to create it.
So we were just kind of like playing around, seeing, what are the possibilities of code.
The guys used the Meta Ray-Bans from Facebook's parent company, which have cameras right on the lens. But a phone could do this too. That camera streams video back to the software on their laptop. And using AI tools, it runs a face through the program to gather private information within about a minute and a half.
It's literally a proof of concept and a warning shot. This is like the warning shot that could be heard around the world. So I'm both excited and both really scared, right? To the point where it probably will keep me up at night at a certain point from a cybersecurity and privacy aspect.
So every bit of this is legal. There are restrictions on how governments can use this technology, but not people. Something top of mind for the guys who are hoping state and federal governments step in. What do you want people to take away from kind of this technology that you've ultimately built here?
People should obviously be more aware of their data. We want people to be aware that this is possible now, and you should take precautions against that.
Kane and Anfu have created a way for people to take their names off these public databases.
This is what they put together. I think it was like a link to like a Google Doc, but I just took a screenshot of it to make it easier. So you guys can pause and read this. There's got to be some stuff put in place because we move in at an exponential rate. We're moving fast. Now, granted, a lot of information is public. You know what I'm saying? You can just like look it up, but like if people start creating apps like these and connect it to the glasses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, it's just 10 times easier. Imagine somebody walking by you getting all your information on the spot.
Mr. President, do you have a reaction to the new Time magazine cover that has Elon Musk sitting behind your Resolute desk?
タイムマガジンにイーロン・マスクが大統領の机の後ろで座っている写真がありますけども、それに関するコメントは何かありますか?
Is Time magazine still in business? I didn't even know that.
まだタイムマガジンは廃刊じゃないんですか?
Elon is doing a great job. He's finding tremendous fraud and corruption and waste.
المهية لايف.
Okay, because I think you were talking about denuclearization,
Correct.
and that's where the cutting of the spending came in.
I never said cut. No, it's not in these days. I'd love to cut defense spending, but not now, because you have China, you have Russia, you have a lot of problems out there. No.
In fact,
no. What I have said is, we spend a lot of money on nuclear missiles, nuclear weapons. The level of destruction is beyond anything you can even imagine. It's just bad that everybody has to spend all this money on something that if it's used, it's probably the end of the world.
Wow. I don't know what to say to that.
You know, when I listen to these climate lunatics and they talk about global warming, and they say the ocean's going to rise 1/8 of an inch in the next 300 years, and you know, and nobody ever talks about nuclear weapons or some of the other things, but the nuclear weapons in particular right now. And they talk about the climate, and they talk about the dangers of the climate, but they don't talk about the dangers of a nuclear weapon, which could happen tomorrow. They say in 300 years, I watched Biden for years say the existential threat. He loved the term existential threat. Our greatest existential threat is from the climate. And I said, no. The greatest is sitting in shelves in various countries called nuclear weapons that are big monsters that can blow your heads off for miles.
This is an artificial baby. This is a newly advanced technology through which babies will be created in the laboratory. Scientists predict in the future, with this new technology, we will be able to create 30,000 artificial babies in 1 year. According to scientists, they have the ability choosing the baby's eye color, hair color, skin tone, physical strength, height, and level of intelligence. With this new technology, the perfect human being can be created artificially. This technology was invented in 1984, and according to scientists, the United States military, in the next 10 years, will be creating babies in multiple secret laboratories throughout the United States of America. What is the reason for doing this? Why keep it secret from the public?
Given through inner guidance.
The popularization of these practices is not merely a trend. The initiation into the New Age is happening in a real and official capacity in our world today. As you will learn more about later in this video, the Lucis Trust, founded by Alice Bailey, is working with the United Nations to expand their network of light workers around the world and spread the message of spiritual brotherhood and popularize the occult practices of invocation and meditation in order to awaken mankind to its divinity and hasten the return of the New Age Christ and his spiritual hierarchy of ascended beings.
There is a mainstreaming of the
of the sort of Enlightenment impulse. It's kind of fun going through history and seeing how things that seem weird or New Age or fringe or whatever 2-3 decades later are being discussed at Harvard.
At this time of planetary transition, there's a lot of chaos and confusion. And the emerging light is revealing the rather dualistic nature of the human condition. But through these revelations, humanity is beginning to touch a vision of unity and oneness. And many are subconsciously aware of the inner worlds opening up and the dawn of a new spirituality. And the New Age movement, of course, has developed now with all its many facets, both good and bad. And at the heart of this movement is the idea of a new world based on love and sharing. And it's only when we've developed that ability to see whole that a planetary healing and a truer understanding of our destiny as a planetary light bearer can occur. And as light continues to descend on Earth, we see a rapidly growing interest in meditation and visualization techniques. And as more people start working in meditation and mindfulness and concentrated thinking on areas of human development, the world is steadily filling with light to focus the consciousness as high as possible in the mind.
Okay, so how do we get access to that? Our genius, so to speak. The answer is in finding moments of presence and stillness. And what that means is basically stopping the thinking mind. To actually create an opening is finding that dimension within you of stillness, the state of Zen, maybe, to have access to the deeper part of who you really are requires thoughtless awareness. And this is something that even Einstein spoke about. Stillness
hydrant has no water. I mean, you want 50 to 80 is your ideal hydrant pressure.
And what have you got?
I'm bouncing between 0, 50.
Does anyone want to tell me why the Coast Guard would want to draw a nuclear symbol on December 18th, 2024 with an aircraft in the sky? I'm very curious. It's very uncanny timing, if you ask me.
Have a bombshell to report to you, ladies and gentlemen. The secret ingredient in vaccines has been found. A peer-reviewed study published Friday documented 55 undeclared chemical elements which have been detected in the exotic COVID gene therapy technology from brands Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, CanSino, Sinopharm and Sputnik V. Given the exotic nature of these findings, the researchers deduced that the novel COVID gene therapy technology injections are in fact part of a secret worldwide nanotechnological experimentation program.
And what they found was rare earth minerals in these technologies. They found 11 out of the 15 lanthanides. That's what a rare earth mineral, that's the scientific term for it, is a lanthanide. And the hairs on the back of my neck stood up, Maria. Why is that? Because these rare earth magnets, lanthanides, are what's used in our smart technology for two-way communication. It's used in the electronic vehicles. It's used in our smartphones. It's used in our televisions. It's used in the Internet of Things. They are the cornerstone elements for the Internet of Things. It's used in Elon Musk's Teslas and in his Neuralink.
In the midst of everything that is going on in California right now, with wildfires completely obliterating entire neighborhoods, devastating families, taking lives, I am completely haunted by this tweet and map that I will insert into this video that I saw on Twitter in October of 2022 that literally writes off large portions of the global south and marks them as being uninhabitable in about 20 to 30 years. Now, what sticks out is that Canada looks like it is one of the, if not the most habitable place on the face of the planet in about 20 to 30 years. Now, mind you, this map was released in October of 2022. By January 2023, January 1st to be exact, Canada made it illegal for all non-citizens to buy residential properties in Canada. Coincidence? I think not. It's almost as if they know what's coming and they don't want everybody running into their country as a safe haven. What do you think?
More than 100 years ago, Rudolf Steiner wrote that in the future, we will eliminate the soul with medicine. Under the pretext of a healthy point of view, there will be a vaccine by which the human body will be treated so that the human being cannot develop the thought of the existence of soul and spirit. He would be extremely smart, but he would not develop a conscience. And that is the true goal of some materialistic circles. A viral video which claims to be a leaked 2005 presentation to the DoD by American geneticist Dean Hamer shows a man briefing a room of men about the VMAT2 gene, the God gene, and how it can be suppressed with the use of vaccines.
On the left over here, we have individuals who are religious fundamentalists, religious fanatics. And this is the expression, RT-PCR, real-time PCR expression of the VMAT2 gene. Our hypothesis is that these are fanatical people, that they have overexpression of the VMAT2 gene, and that by vaccinating them against this, we'll eliminate this behavior.
In 2002, former news anchor Ryan Harper claimed in the
Welcome to the Smart City Revolution panel. We're going to discuss a very exciting topic, which is how we're going to live our lives and how we're going to work in the cities of the future.
The 15-minute cities that everyone is talking about now is the Great Reset's trendy new name for open-air prison camps. The idea is to corral everyone into neighborhoods small enough to walk from one end to the other in 15 minutes. So that you'll never, ever have to leave.
Is your name listed as a stakeholder of any of the redevelopment plans regarding a smart city?
So I'm sorry, but I asked for testimony pursuant to the agenda, and there's nothing on the agenda about smart cities. And if we could also refrain from yelling.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, and I'll provide clarification. Smart cities is everything about housing.
I do not consent to AI control. I do not consent to smart cities.
Excuse me. Okay, I appreciate your comments again. I do really need to stick to the items on the agenda.
You know what? Your agenda.
The wildfires have taken lives. There's growing concern. Developers are now trying to take the land.
We know very well that you guys, as the third largest stakeholders, the state, do want that land and can take it when you deem it a natural disaster.
Funny how all the common people were taken out. King Charles helped turn on a climate clock at a summit in London this afternoon. It triggers 150 similar clocks across the major cities of the UK, counting down the seconds to 2030. The estimated deadline for limiting climate change to 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels.
We have to reduce emissions urgently and take action to tackle the carbon already in the atmosphere. As we tackle this crisis, our efforts cannot be a series of independent initiatives running in parallel. The scale and scope of the threat we face call for a global systems-level solution based on radically transforming our current fossil fuel-based economy to one that is genuinely renewable and sustainable. We know this will take trillions, not billions of dollars. We also know that countries, many of whom are burdened by growing levels of debt, simply cannot afford to go green. Here we need a vast military-style campaign to marshal the strength of the global private sector, with trillions at its disposal, far beyond global GDP, and with the greatest respect, beyond even the governments of the world's.
Why do they want these 15-minute cities whereby you have everything you need within 15 minutes walk or bike ride of your house, so you don't have to move? What they want is these communities increasingly isolated from everyone else and communicating through the internet, which they can switch off anytime they bloody like. What you saw during lockdown, that was all part of the perceptual preparation for these 15-minute cities. This is why they are targeting car ownership in such a blatant way. I've been in London and seen what the 20-mile-an-hour speed limits are like. It's a nightmare. It's producing more pollution because you're in a lower gear most of the time. This is the thing, you see. That's the scam. That's the no problem reaction solution. That's why
it's just a stepping stone, isn't it, to what they really want?
Exactly that. What it's doing is making it more and more and more expensive to have a car, to have independence of movement, because they want you in a situation of dependency. The electric car, for instance, is nothing to do with the environment. It's about moving to autonomous cars that drive themselves, but you won't own it, you'll hire it. With a petrol and diesel car, you can pretty much drive where you want. With an autonomous car, the computer will decide where you can and cannot go.
I've noticed something a bit strange about these LA fires everyone's been tagging me in. The first weird thing that I noticed is that insurance companies dropped fire coverage 3 months before the fire started. And many people have reported electrical wires from the power grid causing these fires. And of course, the water supply has been cut off. And don't you think it's a bit weird in this picture that all of the trees stay standing but the houses aren't? Of course, this is for educational purposes only, and I'm not claiming anything. And then we go to Google and type in 2028 Smart LA City. What a coincidence they want to build a smart city in LA. And of course, it's a lot easier to build a whole city if there's no buildings there. Of course, this is just for educational purposes only, and I hope everyone is safe over there. Thank you.
You haven't heard of 15-minute cities. Let me explain. The idea is that everything you need, your job, your grocery store, your entertainment, your education, should all be within a 15-minute walk. You don't need to drive a car. Your carbon footprint is too much. You will scan your ID walking along, so we will know all about your movements, your carbon footprint. It will reduce climate change. You won't be driving any kind of fossil fuel car. It all sounds so convenient, right? But here's the thing. This isn't about walkable communities at all. It's all about control. And this
Los Angeles is one of the cities with the heaviest traffic, who told me in 2030 Los Angeles will be private car driven free. And this will allow to transform highways into parks and
just another coincidence, right?
As a 3-time United States Digital City Award winner, the City of Los Angeles has been investing in the infrastructure, the apps, and the data tools to be a globally recognized smart city. But as technology evolves, so our smart city must evolve too. That's why we have developed our Los Angeles Smart City Strategy, known as Smart LA 2028, as a roadmap to the 2028 Summer Olympics. It includes 56 new goals that use technology to transform the way we live, work, and move around LA. Check it out here. Thank you.
So guys, this is essentially a 15-minute neighborhood, right? People think, oh, we got to stop the building of 15-minute neighborhoods. I get something in the future coming along. A lot of people don't understand is that 15-minute neighborhoods have been here for a while. This is one here, for example, at Paddington in London here. But you've got all of this, so it looks like it's really pretty when you first see it, right? They've got all of this, they've got all of these big chain restaurants and stores and stuff. You don't need a car. There's definitely no roadway for any kind of cars or anything like that. You won't need a car in a 15-minute neighborhood. Look at the big chains, right? Nutfield Health, get your big pharma crap from us here. Pret a Manger, get your crappy coffee from here. Itsu, what's that? Korean big Chinese restaurant. You got Sainsbury's local in the corner there. You've got all of this, all of the flats, everything. And right here you've got, if you can't see this because of the camera, this is the propaganda. They've got a giant TV. Guess what it's playing? It's the BBC. It's the state's mouthpiece. It's always playing 24/7. It's the news, it's bollocks. Even though so during summer they call it Little Venice here, because it tries to give a kind of modern day Roman kind of feel to it, if you get what I mean, right? Called a Little Venice, right? You've got people not paying attention to the indoctrination machine over here, off the screen, the big screen, but it does seep into you. You've got speakers everywhere, speakers I think beneath the boards here, and they're just listening to all this crap. The sports games are on to keep you distracted, like Orwell said. You've got all of this, and think about it, guys. Now, if you didn't know otherwise, if you were a normie, right, and you didn't know nothing about 15-minute neighborhoods and the bigger agenda, etc., and you came along, you would think, if you were someone from out of the countryside, you're a young 18, 19-year-old person, wants to get away from, the stupid farm with all the animals and the natural grown products and all of this, and the peaceful, beautiful kind of scenery of country life and all that, and you came here, you would be tricked to think that this was beauty. But it just doesn't seem right when you say the word beauty. There's like something inside of you that goes, yeah, it's not beautiful, but it kind of tricks you to think. It's like modern art. It tricks you to think that it's something that it is. It's not. Modern art is ugly. All of this modern architecture is part of modern art. It tricks you to think that it's something that it's not. It's actually sterile, hollow, and soulless, right? But this is what the future is. It is like, if people have watched Logan's Run, 1970s film, dystopian film, I do highly advise people watch that film if they haven't already. It is the Dome City from Logan's Run. But this is what's happening. It's happening. The infrastructure is here. It's being slowly built around us. And a lot of people just aren't noticing it. Many people just think this is beautiful. But really, in reality, it's not.
Anyone see you come in?
I took the stairs. What'd you find?
I got a look inside the Eden Pay platform. And it's a whole lot more than a glorified bank card. In fact, the whole financial part is maybe 10%.
What's the rest of it?
A combination of things. Surveillance, tracking, biometric reporting, social credit. I mean, they may be planning to start with the money, but whoever has control over this system has control over the whole world and everyone in it.
Well, you said social credit, which means they're going to force you to either conform or be kicked out of the system.
Yeah. And if you lose access to Eden Pay, then you can't even buy food.
They're going to pretend like it's not mandatory. Act like we actually have a choice. Download the app or starve to death. Pretty powerful marketing campaign.
Yeah, my guy on the inside says he has the smoking gun that connects all this and a whole lot more directly to Stoningale. And he's willing to hand it over.
Do you trust him?
Do you want to know what cities like Los Angeles, California, Maui, Hawaii, Santiago, Chile, Valencia, Spain, and Catania, Italy have in common? Last year it was announced that all of them would be smart cities, much like the city of Los Angeles. And coincidentally, each one of those cities experienced a devastating fire that destroyed millions and possibly billions of dollars. It's crazy that now smart cities are having a reputation of catching fire. And that should also beg the question, what other cities around where we live and around where you live are scheduled to be part of smart city movement? And just in case you're curious, some of these are major cities like San Jose, California, Cary, North Carolina, Dallas, Texas, Chicago, Illinois, Austin, Texas, Columbus, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I'm not saying that any of this is going to happen in those cities. This is simply for informational purposes only, and I'm just trying to make people aware.
LA 2.0 plan.
Tonight, I also want to send our love to everyone affected by the terrible wildfires raging in California. We're praying for you all. We love you all. We're going to be there very soon. I'm going to go out there on Friday to see it and to get it moving back. We're going to get some of the best builders in the world, and we'll get it moving back. Together, we will rebuild Los Angeles better, more beautiful than ever before. We're going to get it going. We have the best builders in the world. It's the only people that could do it. Nobody else knows what the hell they're doing. And in 2028, the Los Angeles Olympics will be one of the great sporting events and patriotic celebrations in history. I was with Gianni, the head of the Olympics, and because of the wildfires, they're going to do a special job. They're going to really do something very special for the Olympics. And the opposite, some people say, oh, maybe the Olympics can't go there. It turned out just the opposite. They came to see me the other day, and the committee, and it's just the opposite. So the Olympics is great. And Johnny, for the others, you know, the World Cup, Johnny is the head of it. We had our top people, Wasserman. They all came in on the Olympics, and then I saw Johnny. And we got the World Cup, too. And, you know, I got both of them. I got the Olympics, and I got the World Cup. And I said, you know, it's too bad. One was in 2026, and the other was in 2028. So, Johnny, thank you for the World Cup. And everybody, thank you for the Olympics. We're going to have a great time.
Substantial completion down to over ambitious about everything, down to over 20,000 acres now. But what most people are probably not aware of is that the day before, on January 6th, Governor Newsom was marking the track laying phase of the high-speed rail with completion of key construction and continued partnership. So he had joined community leaders and workers to celebrate the beginning of the track laying phase and substantial completion of a 22-mile stretch. Now, this is all part of his plan called Building California, whose motto is build more faster. And it almost sounds like he got help from Biden on that slogan there. So now anyway, this involves over $180 billion invested into California's infrastructure. And that includes, you know, broadband for, you know, stealing our data and tracking us, more expensive forms of energy generation. When it says environmental restoration, they mean kicking people out of the wildland urban interface, you know, semiconductors for, you know, 5G tech and smart city tech, streamlined projects to, you know, have all of these plans done by the time the World Cup and the Olympics come to town. Transportation to make it less convenient to drive cars than it would be to take the bus or to walk. It involves control over the water supply and zero emission vehicles, so that any vehicle you do have will most likely be an EV with zero emissions. One thing I wanted to point out about Gavin Newsom is that he is a member of the World Economic Forum, or WEF, along with Tulsi Gabbard, Zelensky, Kim Jong-un, Trudeau, and Macron from France. So that is one heck of a list there of World Economic Forum young global leaders, as they call them. And so we've seen these young global leaders planted in a lot of positions, which includes Mayor Garcetti, who was the former mayor of LA, who launched a Green New Deal in 2019, which includes making LA carbon neutral by 2050, as well as a commitment to uphold the Paris Climate Agreement, which was an agreement in 2015 or 16 that over almost 200 countries had signed away their sovereignty to this climate agreement, which was made by the UN, the climate changers themselves. And it shows here that they're trying to zero out Los Angeles's main source of harmful emissions. It also includes a 50% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 2025, which is this year, which outpaces the standard set by the United Nations IPCC report, which is the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. and that comes straight from the climate changers themselves. All right. It also includes, they signed a fossil fuel streets declaration alongside 11 other C40 mayors. Now, C40 is something that has been brought to my attention by the viewers, and I did come across it when I was covering the Jasper fire in Alberta. So the Strong Cities Network and the C40 network, it's all intricately linked to these smart city plans. And we'll probably cover, C40 and Strong Cities in a future video. All right, so Mayor Garcetti, about a year after the Green New Deal, he had said, quote, "The soul of our recovery will shape the contours of our city's future for decades to come. We have a blueprint for the city of the future." Now, that blueprint that he was referring to was Smart LA 2028, which is the smart city strategy for the city of Los Angeles. And he was allowed to put his name on this, but he didn't come up with it himself. I know he's taken a lot of credit for this, but this is handed down to, the mayors from on high, the UN Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. They hand these plans out to every locality, and they let the local politicians take as much credit as possible for this. Now, this is basically an overview for the smart city, which is based on several other plans that were previously made. So there's the 2020 Long Range Transportation Plan, the Vision 2028 Metro Strategic Plan, the MBS, or Moving Beyond Sustainability Plan, among many others, which includes these transit-oriented communities. Now, transit-oriented development is a theme that we've seen running through pretty much every smart city plan that I've investigated so far. And it involves making it more convenient to take transit, walk, or bike than to drive. And I interpret that as making it less convenient to drive than the other modalities of transportation. They also at the bottom here say one of their policy goals is to stabilize and strengthen communities around the transit areas. Now, these are usually known as opportunity zones, and usually within a quarter to half mile of a transit station, there's going to be a lot of redevelopment projects, such as affordable housing, mixed use development, and so forth. Now, I know a lot of people are wondering if there are any plans for the Palisades, and there actually are. So the Palisades has plans for mixed use multifamily developments in the Palisades. Now, what I want to point out is that Palisades has traditionally been zoned for R1 zoning, which is single family zoning. But the fact that these plans have been approved either by Mayor Garcetti or perhaps Karen Bass, she's probably read into this, so she at least knows about it. However, it appears that Palisades is being rezoned for multifamily mixed use development. So even though Governor Newsom denies having any involvement in the rezoning of Palisades, Palisades is being rezoned, and it's most likely one of the mayors, either former or current, that had a hand in that. Now, I just wanted to point out that Palisades is not an Olympic venue, so it is it is not part of the Olympic development, but it is part of the smart city plans. All right, so what are the Olympic venues? So these are the Olympic venues that are coming to Los Angeles. Now, the majority of the venues are divided into clusters known as sports parks, which will be situated in downtown LA, the San Fernando Valley, and Long Beach. The Olympic Village will be situated at UCLA campus, while the University of Southern California will host the Media Village. The Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum and the Rose Bowl will host athletics and soccer, and the Crypto.com Arena will host gymnastics, and the Intuit Dome will host basketball. The BMO Stadium will host the football finals, and the SoFi Stadium will host swimming events. Riviera Country Club will host golf. The Orange County Great Park in Irvine is a potential venue for the cricket competitions. There is going to be, like I said, swimming at the SoFi Stadium, and artistic swimming at Long Beach, and diving at the historic projects that are involved for the Olympics. And he calls this the 28 by 28 initiative. So there's 28 projects seen here, which includes mostly rail and bus transit projects. There's a couple of interstate projects that involve expressway lanes, but the one I wanted to point out here was the bus-only lanes. They are planning on actually reducing the number of car lanes and increasing the number of bus lanes and bike lanes, and even widening the sidewalks for pedestrians. So that's going to increase the other modalities of travel, but decrease the efficiency of travel by private car. Now, of these projects, the ones that are in and around the SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, are going to be redeveloped even faster at warp speed, so to speak, because there's only about 500 days left until the World Cup kicks off at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. And even the World Cup page has a section on human rights, and they addressed potential human rights impacts. They say that the World Cup has asked each of the prospective host cities in Canada, Mexico, and the United States to submit a human rights stakeholder engagement report as part of their bid to host the games during the World Cup in 26. In these reports, cities were expected to set out how they are working and will continue to work with stakeholders to identify and address potential human rights impacts associated with hosting the tournament, and to maximize opportunities for a positive human rights legacy. Now, when it comes to a positive human rights legacy, I don't think that's going to be very likely to come out of this. I think what we're going to see is a showcase of human rights impacts and a negative human rights legacy that comes out of this redevelopment plan and relocation plan.
Through my area, and we did take it a few times to downtown and car.
Now, as Tracy told me, 8. Now, will take place between now and then. They also say in the same graphic here that they are going to use proactive technology that identifies fire, violence, and other risks to the health and safety of LA residents even before a 911 call. Now that implies, their biometric cameras and scanners and artificial intelligence with predictive analytics. It's basically pre-crime, which I'll get to more of that later. Now, some of the smart city data points that we have here are that they will be using IoT, which is Internet of Things. That's going to be a network of sensors that's connected to 5G, and it details the real-time tracking and movements of just about everything, every device, and even Internet of Things. There's going to be RFID tags that have been miniaturized, and they will be inserted in non-electronic devices. Even clothing, such as shoes, pants, and shirts, may actually contain these Internet of Things RFID tags that can be tracked everywhere around LA with the sensors that are being put in place. Now, they also talk about smart city data and tools practices, which include effective cross-department, government to resident, government to business, and machine-to-machine information sharing. Now, what they left out here was the resident to government information sharing, which is going to be sharing all of your data with the government and the corporations they work with. Another thing that they talk about here is smart city connectivity and digital inclusion, which is integrating public and private offerings, which is basically public-private partnerships, also known as fascism, to keep track of all of this stuff. One of the programs that's involved is called Digital or Data Angels, and Data Angels uses a lens of equity, whatever that means, to scrape and mine data, stitch together insights, and provide policy recommendations. Now, this is all part of their electronic social governance, which is going to be, a lot of policy is going to be governed by AI or electronically. And I know I've brought that up before, but I just wanted to show that, this is part of the plan. All right. And they go into smart policing, which enables a safer Los Angeles by enabling proactive community outreach to prevent future crime. Now, this is those predictive analytics that I was talking about and the biometrics that are going to track everyone, also through Internet of Things. So everyone will be tracked in real time, and predictive analytics will be used to predict when you are about to commit a crime. Now, if anyone has seen the Tom Cruise movie Minority Report, this is a very dystopian version of that is coming to pass. All right, so now this is based on the I3 consortium, which, along with the city of Los Angeles and other public and private partners, have formed a consortium to develop an open source platform called the Intelligent IoT Integrator, or I3. And it's going to use real-time Internet of Things data streams between device owners and third-party applications. This also includes security camera data aggregation, which is going to include biometrics and so forth. All right, so LA is a founding member of the World Council on City Data, which enables cities to use data to design and measure the performance of city services and quality of life impacts on its communities. It goes on to say that the city of Los Angeles serves as one of the leaders to set the global agenda for standardizing city data. So it almost looks like this is going to be a model for the rest of the country, if not the rest of the world. Now, one of their timelines here shows that they are currently already expanded environmental sensors across LA. And this is allegedly to inform remediation of environmental quality concerns like noise and air quality, but it's going to be so much more than that. Now, over the course of the next year, they're going to be building their Internet of Things platform through public-private partnerships, also known as a form of techno-fascism. Now, by 2028, their goal is to deploy the smart grid, to build and deploy the smart grid for LA for continuous monitoring of not just the power grid, but it also says to empower customers to control and limit their power consumption by 2028, which is kind of ironic that they use that wording, empower, because it's really empowering customers to disempower themselves, which is kind of ironic. All right, so this brings up security and ethical concerns with smart city infrastructure. The proliferation of smart city infrastructure has resulted in substantial concerns around cybersecurity, for example, securing Internet of Things devices, and potential unethical uses of smart city infrastructure for the detriment of residents. So their challenges include increasing security issues related to the exponential increase in smart devices and data sharing interfaces, as well as smart infrastructure like facial recognition, high-speed connectivity, sensors, etc., which can be used to discriminate against specific communities, such as truthers and so forth. All right, continues on to say that data privacy concerns, as the city of Los Angeles intakes more and more data, whether personal or de-identified, they must be cognizant of resident privacy concerns and take steps to ensure the ethical use of this data. Their challenge includes public concerns about government data privacy, bias, surveillance, and security. And so, yeah, I just wanted to say that that is actually one of the main goals, is to steal our data and use it to track and predict everything we're going to do. And of course, that does raise privacy concerns as well as, security concerns over our
Run ye to and fro through the streets of Jerusalem, and see now and know, and seek in the broad places thereof, if ye can find a man, if there be any that executeth judgment, that seeketh the truth, and I will pardon it. And though they say, The Lord liveth, surely they swear falsely. O Lord, are not thine eyes upon the truth? Thou hast stricken them, but they have not grieved. Thou hast consumed them, but they have refused to receive correction. They have made their faces harder than a rock. They have refused to return. Therefore I said, Surely these are poor, they are foolish, for they know not the way of the Lord, nor the judgment of their God. I will get me unto the great men, and will speak unto them, for they have known the way of the Lord, and the judgment of their God. But these have altogether broken the yoke, and burst the bonds. Wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the evenings shall spoil them. A leopard shall watch over their cities. Every one that goeth out then shall be torn in pieces, because their transgressions are many, and their backslidings are increased. How shall I pardon thee for this? Thy children have forsaken me, and sworn by them that are no gods. When I had fed them to the full, they then committed adultery, and assembled themselves by troops in the harlots' houses. They were as fed horses in the morning, every one neighed after his neighbour's wife. Shall I not visit for these things, saith the Lord? And shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this? Go ye up upon her walls and destroy, but make not a full end. Take away her battlements, for they are not the Lord's. For the house of Israel and the house of Judah have dealt very treacherously against me, saith the Lord. They have belied the Lord, and said, It is not he, neither shall evil come upon us, neither shall we see sword nor famine, and the prophets shall become wind, and the word is not in them. Thus shall it be done unto them. Wherefore, thus saith the Lord God of hosts, because ye speak this word, behold, I will make my words in thy mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them. Lo, I will bring a nation upon you from far, O house of Israel, saith the Lord. It is a mighty nation, it is an ancient nation, a nation whose language thou knowest not, neither understandest.
Put your phone right now. Just Google 2025. And go to images. Make sure you're on images.
Movie posters.
What is? It's kind of like apocalyptic kind of thing, right?
The world
Okay.
enslaved by a virus.
Okay. Hold up. Now Google 2026.
Bugattis, trophies.
Glory in a way, like things are going good. Now Google 2027.
There's a storyline already set in motion.
This is how the Simpsons predict everything.
The return of Christ? That's what showed up.
Okay, hold up. Now go to 2028. End of the world. Devil, the devil and Jesus like arm wrestling and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, now go to 2029.
Meteor?
A meteor hits Earth. Go to 2030. This is where it all wraps up.
Aliens? Future civilizations?
A utopia. Aliens come and like, it's just utopia.
Is that supposed to represent aliens or us going to heaven and the rest?
Couldn't tell you.
In 2020, an exclusive organisation for the world's most powerful people, called Stakeholders, enacted a 10-year transition to a global, authoritarian political system called stakeholder capitalism.
It's a funeral of shareholder capitalism, and it's a birth of stakeholder capitalism.
You have shown us the way forward.
One of their agendas by 2030 is to own the food supply chain.
Bill Gates became the largest individual owner of farmland.
According to their reports, this is what they want us to eat.
GMO wheat, every piece of corn I've ever eaten is GMO corn. So these are things that billions of years of using these products have been done. These are proven products.
The stakeholders have an initiative to ban livestock.
Cows alone account for about 6% of global emissions. So we need to change cows.
And increase our consumption of
artificial meat, like Impossible or Beyond Meat, both of which I invested in.
We'll have the convenience of printing it from our homes. Or luckily for us,
today the European Commission has officially declared mealworms to be food.
we can choose real meat that's climate change friendly.
Mealworms, crickets, grasshoppers. These tiny insects, just over 2 centimeters long, could be key to feeding the planet.
You're a family man. Yes, sir, boy.
As the stakeholders continue to scare us with their climate change propaganda,
climate change. It threatens to tip tens of millions of people over the edge into food insecurity, followed by malnutrition, mass hunger and famine in a crisis that could last for years.
we also expose the World Economic Forum's initiatives.
The Netherlands will host the World Economic Forum Food Innovation House
That are designed to remove ownership of family farms.
This means turfing people off their farms.
Massive farmer protests have broken out around the Netherlands.
Thousands of farmers have been protesting on the outskirts of Delhi.
Trudeau is not alone. Leaders from 4 countries, they want governments like India to scrap farmer-friendly laws.
Good evening. Farmers all over the country walked off the paddock today and took their tractors to town.
Every fifth farmer you see here today will be gone by 2030.
Hundreds of French farmers drove their tractors to Paris.
Last weekend, once again, I had a colleague who killed himself.
You're not the only farmer with this problem. Farmers are heartbroken, absolutely heartbroken, and they don't know where to turn.
Thousands of farmers from southeast Mercia.
From all over Ireland, we have no option. We are not paying carbon tax.
Hundreds of farmers have driven their tractors into the centre of Belgium's capital.
Thousands of farmers from across Germany descended on this city.
When we all have to go, where does the food come from?
Our food security is in grave danger. To watch our free documentary about stakeholder capitalism and help fund an investigation into the stakeholders' plan for acquiring the food supply chain, visit yellow.forum.
You need to watch this.
The Earth is being put into a countdown collapse right now. Globalists have gone from testing phase into full operational now. And they say, read their writings, we are going to have a post-industrial world by 2030. We will have no personal cars by 2030. You will be eating bugs by 2030, and we will start the depopulation of 90% of the people by 2045. That is the official WWF, official UN, official Club of Rome plan.
Means that you can't get the economies in these areas going because it holds things back so much. Now, malaria is, of course, transmitted by mosquitoes. I brought some here so you could experience this. We'll let those roam around the auditorium a little bit. There. There's no reason only poor people should have the experience. Those mosquitoes are not infected, but.
All right, some remarkable celestial signs will be on display in the coming months that may hold prophetic significance for our world. This series of 4 heavenly phenomena includes 2 lunar events over the next 14 months that appear to represent a possible message about Israel. Keep this in mind. It all kicks off with a total lunar eclipse known as a, quote, blood moon that will appear over the United States on, mark your calendars, folks, March 14, 2025. A blood moon over the U.S. on March 14, 2025. Why is that significant? Because this particular blood moon will fall directly on the Jewish day of Purim. Now, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. This is huge because it's one thing to have a blood moon. This is a normal event. Lunar eclipses are completely normal. They fall on cycles. It happens all the time. But watch this. Again, according to the ancients, according to rabbis, when blood moons are visible on Jewish feast days, this is a significant sign to the nation of Israel. Many times it is a harbinger of war and conflict. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, the fact that this blood moon is not appearing over Israel, but it is forming over the United States of America on the Feast of Purim. By the way, Purim, if you want to know the significance of that, this is when, if you go read the book of Esther, this is when Esther was, she had to rely on calling her people to a full 3-day fast, and she fasted and consecrated herself before the Lord, and they cried out to the Lord, and God intervened, and through Esther's courage and through her call to call the Jewish people to a fast, God completely reversed the assignments of Persia, of quote-unquote modern-day Iran, from annihilating the Jewish people and the nation of Israel. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go on record and tell you this. This is significant. The fact that there is a blood moon that's going to appear over America on the Feast of Purim, this, to me, is a huge warning that, listen, it is very possible that the new president of the United States, Donald Trump, is going to somehow be involved. Now, we know he's going to be involved in the Middle East, but is he going to be directly involved with something to deal with Israel and Iran? Again, the Bible calls Iran Persia. Could it be possible that we're going to see this thing's going to boil over and there's going to be a conflict between Israel and Iran? Again, this resurfaces again. And then now Trump is in the middle of this. How's he going to handle it? Look, I'm just going to tell you, there was some articles. Let me show you some stuff here that I thought is intriguing. This is from Axios. Biden discussed plans to strike Iran's nuclear sites if Tehran speeds towards bomb. Now, this is under the Biden administration. Let's read a little bit of this. White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan presented President Biden with options for a potential U.S. attack on Iran's nuclear facilities if the Iranians move towards a nuclear weapon before January 20th. This was in a meeting several weeks ago that remained secret until now. 3 sources with knowledge of the issue, again, revealed this to Axios. A U.S. strike on Iran's nuclear program during the lame duck period would be an enormous gamble for a president who promised he would not allow Iran to develop a nuclear weapon. But who would but who would also risk handing a fresh conflict over to his successor? Biden did not greenlight a strike during the meeting and has not done so since. Okay, but how will Trump handle Iran if they advance towards the creation of a nuclear bomb? Here is another report. Look at this headline: Iran 2025, nuclear crisis awaits Trump. Iran's recent nuclear advances gives President Trump a crucial decision to make in his first months in office. Now think about it: January, February, March, and then April is when Purim happens, which this blood moon is going to be seen over America, and Trump will be in office. All right, so he's got a crucial decision to make in these coming months to try to neutralize the threat through negotiations and pressure, or order a military strike. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. This is major. If things go south with these negotiations with Iran, President Donald Trump could order a military strike on Iran. Now, that could the results of that could be very catastrophic in the Middle East, because there's other things going on. Remember, Israel has been at war at 7 fronts. Okay? Then you had these rebels in Syria that took over major cities, including Damascus. Now I want to show you this. This is a report we saw this morning. What are we talking about? We're talking about harbingers, right? We're talking about blood moons. These are signs of war. Israel, look at this. Israel must prepare for a potential war with Turkey. Now, why is that significant? Because Turkey is a major player in prophecy of Ezekiel 38:39. Guess who else is right there with them? Iran, Persia, okay? So let's read a little bit of this. Israel must prepare for a direct confrontation with Turkey, according to the Daniye'l Committee's latest report on the defense budget and security strategy. The committee established by the government warns that Turkey's ambitions to restore its Ottoman-era influence could lead to, quote, heightened tensions with Israel, possibly escalating into conflict. Wow. The report highlights the risk of Syrian factions aligning with Turkey, creating a new and potential threat to Israel's security. Look at that, guys. So now we have this possible conflict that Israel will be directly involved with Turkey, which is a major player in Bible prophecy. And we've been warning about that we're seeing the steps getting closer and closer and closer to the fulfillment of Bible prophecy. All right, let's get back over here. I want to go over here. So not only do we have this blood moon that's going to be falling on, and I want to make a correction. I said April a while ago, March 14th, 2025. This isn't when Purim takes place. And so we got all this going on. All right. But there will actually be 2 more blood moons. One is coming this fall before Rosh Hashanah. Let me say that again. Another blood moon will be coming before the Purim one. And it will happen right before Rosh Hashanah. And then the third one also falling directly on Purim, and March 3rd of 2026. Wow, guys. All right, guys, you cannot make this up. You have one on Purim of this year, March 14th. And then next year, are you kidding me? Another blood moon on Purim on March 3rd of 2026. And then we have one coming this fall right before Rosh Hashanah. Again, that's the Jewish New Year. That's when on the Hebrew calendar, they go into the new year. Also, come on.
And I read an article from the New York Times that Bill Gates had just donated $50 million to Kamala Harris's campaign. And the article said that it was the first donation that he's made in 20 years, that he stayed out of politics, that he's been bipartisan. It was a dark money donation. He didn't intend for it to be public. He routed the donation through a 501c4, which was an organization that was set up to conceal large money donations to the Harris campaign. Now, he said, when the Times asked him, he said he had donated zero in the 2020 campaign when President Biden was running against President Trump. And he said this campaign is different than any other. And so he felt the need to do this. Now, do you think Bill Gates made that donation out of a patriotic impulse? Do you think he made it out of a humanitarian impulse? Do you think he made it because he wants global health? Or because he wants to make America healthy again? Well, there was something else, another article about Bill Gates that came out today that said he's just been indicted. He's been indicted in the Netherlands for lying to the public about the COVID vaccine. And he's going to have to go to trial. You think that he wants to go to trial here in the United States of America? You think maybe that's one of the reasons he chose to give $50 million to Kamala Harris?
You know that weird feeling when you've been assigned to vaccinate the population of an entire country, but there are some people who just will not get down with the program. People who, no matter what you say, what you do, or what incentive you put out there, just refuse to take the vaccine. Here in America, this represents somewhere between 19 to about 30% of the population, depending on how you do the numbers. And so, wouldn't it be nice if there was some way that the government could disseminate the vaccine quietly, in a way that people wouldn't even realize that they were getting vaccinated? That way, you can achieve your goal with minimal resistance. Well, if that's what you were thinking, you're in luck, because scientists over at Yale University have just taken a giant step towards making such a thing reality. This paper right here that you can see up on your screen was published just 2 weeks ago by researchers over at Yale University. The paper is titled "Polymer Nanoparticles Deliver mRNA to the Lung for Mucosal Vaccination." And what these researchers over at Yale were able to achieve is to develop a new airborne method of delivery for mRNA vaccines. They were able to vaccinate these mice using 2 doses administered through the nose of a vaccine which contained nanoparticles carrying the mRNA COVID vaccine. These mice were vaccinated without a single injection. And according to the researchers, this experiment showed that this new method of delivery was quote-unquote safe and effective, and they are now planning to test it in humans.
Oh yeah, like I said, I'd been with the CIA for a few years, and then one morning I got ordered to report to a military base, and I was briefed on something called Operation Water the Country. And when I got...
For those who don't know what that is, can you explain what that is?
Oh sure, it's a code name we use for the process of removing all the living birds. They used poison gas dropped from airplanes.
Now, after the living birds were taken out of the picture, what was the next step?
Well, they were replaced with fake birds. They were electronic decoys. They could watch people without them knowing it.
What was your role in all of this? Like, how do you know this information?
I was in charge of destroying the evidence.
Well, by the sheer incompetence of California politicians. Did you hear the news or what?
Are you talking about the fact that the California wildfires appear to line up in the same exact path as the proposed California high-speed rail system? Also, TikTok has announced that it will be officially shutting down operations in America on January 19th. So say bye-bye. Oh, and the Japanese Yakuza leader has pled guilty to attempting to traffic nuclear materials through New York City. That's weird. That's pretty weird.
So you're saying the whispers of nuclear materials being in New York City are true? Good to know. Also not what I'm referring to. Firefighting aircraft collides with drone over the Palisades fire last night. 10 million LA residents receive accidental evacuation warning. Nah, bro, Paris Hilton says her heart is shattered after seeing her burned down palace in LA. Everyone pray for Paris!
The chosen ones, because of a fate unimagined when you began your right state adventures. You started in the olden times, in the world back before the great pandemic of 2020. You will talk of those earlier years in your lives just that way. Well, that was back before the COVID-19. Today you mark your graduation, which has come during the restructuring of time and of science, of our own national will, and of a worldwide commonwealth. You have finished right state during, the great reset, the great reboot. More has been expected of you than to just be an American. You have had to be responsible Americans. You've had to be good Americans. Good Americans who made the sacrifices that have saved lives. You'll have made it through the time of great sacrifice and great need. No one will be more fresh to the task of restarting our measure of normalcy than you chosen ones. You chosen ones are going to form the new structures and define the new realities and make the new world, the world after all that we have been through, and after your time in the final years, the final weeks of life.
This is the biggest thing people are not talking about. The BRICS nations have an agreement. They are going to move off of the dollar. They're going to stop trading in the dollar. They're going to stop trading in the petrodollar. They are going to start using their own currencies, or they may come up with an agreed upon currency, not the dollar, that they will trade with. This is going to destroy America's economy. You think inflation is bad right now? Wait until all of these countries stop trading in the dollar. Inflation will be out of control, and our dollar will plummet. This is how they will destroy America, and it's our own fault. Steve, it's our own fault because of our country's non-stop interventionist, foreign war-causing, regime-changing, horrible attitude in Washington, D.C., and it makes me so upset.
In Washington, D.C., there are 23 major zodiacs in that city, more than any other city in the world. One other thing you're going to love, I don't think it's not on this map. In the earliest plat of Washington, D.C., all the lots are numbered except one. You get up to 665, and then it jumps to 667, 668. So what's missing? 666, 666. And guess what sits on that lot today? The capital of the United States. Now, it's accepted by historians that the French Revolution was fomented by the Illuminati. George Washington, big Masonic. So they're passing along the ancient mysteries through Freemasonry. By the way, if you think that the Illuminati is just something you can laugh at and just some kind of boogaboo, here's a letter in 1782 from George Washington where he said, "It was not my intention to doubt that the doctrines of the Illuminati had not spread to the United States. On the contrary, no one is more fully satisfied of that fact than I am." These guys knew more about what was going on than we do today with all our modern technology and all our electronic communications.
So you believe in some kind of Armageddon?
Yeah, most definitely. We in the last times and days right now. The Illuminati's in effect. See, the Illuminati ain't nothing but like it's gonna be a second Great Depression out here in America. Except this time, corporate America's prepared themselves for it. Meaning when it hits, their money is gonna be safe. As far as the rest of us that don't own our own businesses and things of that nature, so bad, we're gonna be killing each other in the streets, man. Mad Max and beyond Terror Dome and all that is gonna be on, man. And they're gonna have to blow us up, which is what they're gonna do.
They're too much. We say that ashi by with the ready boy. You don't know. We say that. We say that ready boy.
Guidance now, I'm going to after the move. I'm going to put a CR with you. She can do it. I see. Let me move it down. I can do a share about with you. You say that, right?
Mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, is under intense scrutiny after she was abroad visiting Ghana when the wildfires broke out in the city. She was seen returning to the country at the city's airport, where she refused to comment on the situation.
Fire chiefs say that they're really stretched to the limit and running out of water. What have you got to say to that? Have you no response to that? Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today? Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position?
Video, the Black Hawk can be seen flying at speed over the Potomac from the left side of the screen. The American Airlines plane can be seen flying towards the airport before the two collide, causing a mid-air explosion and fall into the river.
There's going to be people of means who are going to travel, and then there's going to be people maybe of lesser means who might actually be able to use an Oculus or a Magic Leap or some other kind of device to travel to the same place, but from their own couch. But in many ways, it's actually going to create even more distance between those two people that psychologically, and I think that we've experienced this through social media, in many ways it's brought people closer in certain ways, but actually created this remarkable divide because it's even more visible, actually, the divide in certain ways.
In the second video, you can see the Army helicopter and American Airlines plane travel toward each other. After the collision and subsequent explosion, the airliner can be seen spinning into the water, and the Black Hawk is also seen falling into the water.
You've flown a Black Hawk. Have you flown this particular corridor in the nation's capital?
Yes, many times. I was in the 12th Aviation Battalion for 2 years, and I commanded Charlie Company there, including on the night of 9/11, and I've thrown through that exact airspace many, many times.
What can you tell us about that process and what you believe may be implicated in what has happened?
There's a system of low-level helicopter routes throughout the capital region that goes above a lot of the freeways and along the Potomac, and it is a very normal, routine thing for military helicopters to fly along those routes. As you're flying past Reagan National Airport, you go down to around 200 feet to deconflict that helicopter passage with the aircraft flying in and out of Reagan. It's a system that's been in place for decades, and throughout that time period, it's ensured the safe deconfliction of those helicopters and aircraft flying in and out of Reagan. But last night, that system failed, and I think it's really important to understand why, so something horrible like this never happens again.
That hard deck terminology, 200 feet, how important is that in the safety of this entire complex system of movement of aircraft and helicopter?
Throughout the entire system, there's a prescribed route and a prescribed altitude you're supposed to be at, and that altitude becomes particularly important right there at Reagan National Airport, because as you're flying, you literally have aircraft coming in and out, and you have to stay at that altitude. It's not really a hard deck, it's a don't fly above that as the helicopter, so that you have what we call in aviation deconfliction, just the spacing horizontally and vertically to make sure there's not a mid-air collision. And for some reason that failed last night.
Based on an FAA briefing, air traffic control spoke with the helicopter crew, to her knowledge, twice. And the helicopter crew acknowledged instructions about where to be twice. Does that tell you anything important?
That sounds like the routine protocol. When I would be flying north to south on the Potomac, you'd check in as the helicopter pilot with the tower at Reagan, and you would not proceed past Key Bridge, for those who know, unless you had clearance to do so, or you wouldn't go past Wilson Bridge in the south without clearance to do so.
Because we just got this from the Associated Press, and it says, quoting here, in audio from the air traffic control tower around the time of the crash, a controller is heard asking the helicopter, quoting here, PAC 25, do you have the CRJ in sight? In reference, of course, to the passenger aircraft. Tower, did you see that? Another pilot is heard calling seconds after the apparent collision. The tower immediately began diverting other aircraft from Reagan. So it appears there was some concern going in as to whether the Black Hawk helicopter had seen or could see this plane that was clearly on final approach.
I'm telling you right now, something is seriously wrong. An American Airlines passenger plane went down last night after colliding with a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter. I have family who is very high up in the Air Force. Literally, here's a picture of me at the base in Hawaii last Christmas. And I also have friends who are cabin crew at American Airlines. And here's what people are talking about that no one is telling you, and why this is extremely alarming. American Airlines regional jet flight 5342 was coming in from Wichita, Kansas, preparing to land in Ronald Reagan National Airport. Just before touchdown, it collided with the U.S. Army UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter right over the Potomac River. As of an hour ago, the search and rescue mission has officially been changed to a recovery mission because they no longer believe that there are any survivors. So far, 29 bodies have been recovered from the plane and 1 body has been recovered from the helicopter. A total of 67 people were on board both aircrafts, including a U.S. national figure skating team that was coming back from a competition, 2 of whom were former Russian national champions. So these are the facts, but what I'm about to tell you suggests that this is more than just a tragic accident. Let's not forget that this happened on approach to our nation's capital. Here's what I've been told from my family that's high up in the Air Force. 1, a collision at this altitude in this airspace is extremely rare. There are multiple layers of traffic control whose entire job is to ensure that things like this do not happen. 2, collisions at night almost never happen. Every aircraft is equipped with anti-collision lights, strobes, and traffic collision avoidance system, which would have warned both pilots of an incoming threat. 3, not all airspace is created equally. Area around DC is Class B airspace, which is the most restrictive and controlled airspace in the entire country. This is not a place where aircraft just happen to run into each other. So now here's my take. Donald Trump, our president, got on Twitter this morning and said, and I quote, "This looks like it could have been prevented." So is this a case of hiding in plain sight, a cover-up, or truly just an accident that shocked everyone? One thing is for sure, this is suspicious and we should not ignore it.
Go ahead and call me crazy. This is a jet. This is a helicopter. Watch. Why is this important? A Black Hawk helicopter flew into a commercial jet over the Potomac River in Washington, D.C. Oh, it was just an accident. It was just an accident. I'll die before you convince me of that. Come at me, bro. Why don't you think it's an accident? Let me give you a little backstory on this. I don't know who was on the plane. I don't know who was in the helicopter. Okay, what I do know is that in that area of the Potomac River, it's common for helicopters to fly around. They're supposed to stay at or below 200 feet AGL, which is above ground level. That helicopter collided with that plane at 350 foot above ground level, somewhere it was not supposed to be. The airplane was in a landing pattern coming into the airport with its landing lights on. And you mean to tell me that the super crazy high amount of technology that's in this military helicopter, and with the pilots flying under visual flight rules, that those two pilots, there were 3 people aboard the helicopter, that those 2 pilots didn't see that plane and they didn't try to avoid it? You mean to tell me that those highly trained, highly skilled pilots didn't see the plane? That's not even why I'm questioning all of this. This is where it happened. Who's this guy? That guy right there is this guy flown by the Air Force. What's the significance of that? This is the plane I'm talking about that landed at Andrews Air Force Base, just next to where the shit happened. Why was a Boeing E-4 known as the Night Watch or the Doomsday plane, which is the militarized version of the Boeing 747 that serves the mobile command post for the U.S. military and is a key component of the National Military Command System, which is designed to survive a nuclear attack? Why was that diverted right after this happened and then landed at Andrews Air Force Base right next to the Potomac River? Why? This helicopter had to have seen this plane. I don't know why. I don't know what led to it. Call me a conspiracy theorist all you want.
Share now, this interview will disappear.
You see everything, but you just see the plane getting lower and lower. Then yesterday it was the planes like, damn, what's going on?
Aviation expert, and he was saying that angle, Jason, and it came down so.
If you look up, if you can go over there right now. I'm coming out the gym. You see cars that wasn't even close to the plane. It's caught fire. They're completely done. You can't see. I showed you the pictures. It's messed up, man.
And to see
houses on fire. They trying to put it out there. You see kids running out. It's not right, man. And then I don't know if this was purposely done or not. But what I do know, man, to be honest, I don't think nobody's safe. I think everybody needs to protect themselves by any means possible. Like, what can we do? What can we do? If it's happening now, what can we do? Like, we had no control over that. Can't nobody expect that. You cannot see that coming.
SeaTac on a taxi line between S Concourse and the South Airport maintenance hangars. The incident involved a taxiing Japan Airlines aircraft that struck the tail of a parked Delta Airlines aircraft. There are no injuries reported at this time. SeaTac is working with both the airlines to safely deplane passengers and bring them to the terminal. There is minimal impact to the airport operations as this occurred, but we do want to let you know, because of all the weather situation and everything going on out there, we do have 125 delays as of now, 21 cancellations, and a lot of that is because of the situation with some of the weather going on in and out of our airport at SeaTac and other airports. Passengers, though, are encouraged to check with their airlines if they are flying today. I would check with the airline to make sure your flight is on time or if there's a delay or a cancellation. But again, you're seeing that video there because the Port of Seattle Fire and Police at Seattle International Airport responded to an incident there on the ramp at SeaTac on a taxi line between Concourse S and the South Airport maintenance hangars. It was between a Japan Airlines aircraft, and it appeared to have struck the tail of a parked Delta Airlines aircraft. We have crews on the way to that situation. We'll, of course, bring you the very latest. But again, we want to let you know that that situation at SeaTac is fluid, and we will be following it here on the Fox Local Live Desk. We will bring you more throughout the day, and especially in our evening news. But because of the weather alert day here, we are going to be streaming live off and on here from the Fox Local Live Desk. We're going to send you now back to Live Now. We'll see you in a bit.
Just crashed in the retirement home.
Do you know the real reason why all these planes are crashing all over the world? There has been literally 99 aviation accidents this year alone. They're literally conditioning people to scare them from traveling. It's exactly like the Truman Show. They literally scared him from traveling so he wouldn't realize what the world was. In the Truman Show, when he goes to the airport to book a ticket, they literally have like a poster saying, "Travelers beware, diseases, wild animals, and street gangs." Literally all fear-mongering so he wouldn't travel. That is exactly what they're doing right now. They're literally conditioning people to not want to get on airplanes and travel. Why are they doing this? It's so that you can get used to being stuck in your 15-minute cities. They say that air transport is the most safest form of transport. Why? This year alone has there been 99 incidents already with 14 fatal crashes.
So if you've been seeing a lot of plane crashes on the internet and it's really scaring you away from traveling, please let me make myself very, very clear when I say this. The number of plane crashes this year is actually less than previous years. However, the number of reportings that we are seeing is increased. Is that a coincidence with our current presidential administration? I'm truly not trying to be a conspiracy theorist. One of the ways that people in power will try to control other people is by convincing them that something different from what they are experiencing is dangerous and creating a fear around that. So now all of a sudden, even though there are less plane crashes this year, we're now seeing more news reportings and it's just all over our feeds all the time, which in turn scare the public away from getting on flights, experiencing other cultures, potentially even moving abroad and doing things that are outside of our bubble of the United States. Please, please, please keep the fear-mongering to yourself because air travel is still one of the safest ways for you to
everything, drop it. Come on. Don't take that down. That's on the way. On the way.
Oh my. Yo, I was just on this. Oh my God.
There's something strange going on in the sky as airlines and pilots are on high alert due to GPS spoofing, a new form of electronic warfare messing with navigation systems. Over 1,100 flights a day are now facing fake GPS signals that can confuse cockpit systems and put pilots on edge. Pilots report everything from clocks resetting to false pull-up commands, all while flying through some of the world's busiest air corridors. Although there haven't been any major incidents so far, the risks are rising. Airlines and regulators are scrambling to find fixes before something serious.
There's also an obvious connection of this satanic ritual event to the grand satanic ritual that happens every year. That ritual is none other than the Super Bowl, which was once blasphemously referred to as the Holy of Holies by Madonna in 2012.
First of all, it's the Super Bowl. I mean, the Super Bowl is kind of like the Holy of Holies in America, right? So, like, here I am. I'm going to come into the halfway between, like, the church experience, and I'm going to have to deliver a sermon.
Not to mention Madonna, who represents the Mother Goddess and Queen of Heaven, Ishtar, Isis, or Astarte, went on to simulate giving birth to the Antichrist during her performance. This was the same Super Bowl where Ahmad Bradshaw, number 44 for the Giants, simulated the birth of the Antichrist in his 6-yard touchdown run against the Patriots. The Learjet 55 crashed in Philadelphia, which is the home of the Philadelphia Eagles. Not only that, but it was en route to Springfield Branson Airport in Missouri. Missouri is the state where Kansas City is located, the home of the Kansas City Chiefs. Thus, the connection to the satanic Super Bowl ritual between the Philadelphia Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs is obvious. In addition, the city of Springfield's nickname include Queen City of the Ozarks, again a reference to the Mother Goddess and Queen of Heaven. Further, the Ozarks connects back to the show Ozark, which also pointed us to.
Can you tell me why you came here?
Nope.
I was in politics once. In Chicago.
Notice the use of the symbol for Nehushtan, the fiery or venomous serpent, on the pole that was worshipped by apostate Jews, as found in 2 Kings 18:4. Make note of the name Nehushtan, as we will come back to it later. Not to mention, there's also a statue of a false Messiah figure in the Ozarks, which stands 67 feet high, as a further reference to rebellion. The fact that this statue is 67 feet tall connects back to the 67 people killed in the Black Hawk American Eagle collision, as well as the 6 people killed on board the Learjet 55 and the 7th person that was killed on the ground as well. Springfield, Missouri is also the birthplace of Route 66. U.S. Route 66, or Highway 66, is one of the original highways in the United States numbered highway system. Now get this, it was established in 1926 on November 11th, and since Novum means 9, this means Route 66 was established on 9/11 as a reference to Revelation 9/11 and the rise of the King of the Pit. Not only that, but Route 66 is featured in the Disney Pixar flick Cars with Lightning McQueen. We know that lightning means Barak and points to the Hebrew phrase, which is used to describe Satan fall like lightning from heaven. The name McQueen means son of the queen and points to the queen of heaven, Ishtar, Isis, Astarte, or the Madonna. Remember, Madonna simulated giving birth to the Antichrist during the 2012 Super Bowl, in which number 44 of the Giants simulated the birth of the Antichrist. Clearly, this is all meant to identify the connection to Route 66, and giving birth is confirmed in the scriptures because in Leviticus 12:1-5, the purification of a woman giving birth to a girl was 66 days.
What's going on with all of these videos surfacing of arsonists and random people just lighting fires throughout the city? Do you think these are just random vandals? Or are these federal agents?
A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous round about him. He shall call to the heavens from above, and to the earth, that he may judge his people. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. Mischief shall come upon mischief, and rumor shall be upon rumor. Then shall they seek a vision of the prophet, but the law shall perish from the priest, and counsel from the ancients. The king shall mourn, and the prince shall be clothed with desolation, and the hands of the people of the land shall be troubled. I will do unto them after their way, and according to their deserts will I judge them, and they shall know that I am the Lord. Also, thou son of man, thus saith the Lord God unto the land of Israel, An end, the end is come upon the four corners of the land. Now is the end come upon thee, and I will send mine anger upon thee, and will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. And mine eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity. But I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thine abomination shall be in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. Thus saith the Lord God, An evil, and only evil, behold, is come. An end is come, the end is come, it watcheth for thee, behold, it is come. The morning is come unto thee, O thou that dwellest in the land. The time is come, the day of trouble is near, and not the sounding again of the mountains. Now will I shortly pour out my fury upon thee, and accomplish mine anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense thee for all thine abominations. And mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity. I will recompense thee according to thy ways and thine abominations that are in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am the Lord that smiteth. Behold the day, behold it is come, the morning is gone forth, the rod hath blossomed, pride hath budded, violence is risen up into a rod of wickedness. None of them shall remain, nor of their multitude, nor of any of theirs. Neither shall there be wailing for them. The time is come, the day draweth near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn, for wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. For the seller shall not return to that which is sold, although they were yet alive. For the vision is touching the whole multitude thereof, which shall not return. Neither shall any strengthen himself in the iniquity of his life. They have blown the trumpet, even to make all ready. But none goeth to the battle, for my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. The sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. But they that escape of them shall escape, and shall be on the mountains like doves of the valleys, all of them mourning, every one for his iniquity. All hands shall be feeble, and all knees shall be weak as water. They shall also gird themselves with sackcloth, and horror shall cover them, and shame shall be upon all faces, and baldness upon all their heads. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. As for the beauty of his ornament, he set it in majesty, but they made the images of their abominations and of their detestable things therein. Therefore have I set it far from them, and I will give it into the hands of the strangers for a prey, and to the wicked of the earth for a spoil, and they shall pollute it. My face will I turn also from them, and they shall pollute my secret place. For the robbers shall enter into it and defile it. Make a chain, for the land is full of bloody crimes, and the city is full of violence. Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. I will also make the pomp of the strong to cease, and their holy places shall be defiled.
Videos all week of California being consumed by these wildfires, one house at a time. This house in particular was not damaged, owned by a Christian man, and this is his story.
I shouldn't be crying because my entire block is burnt down, but God saved my house. Why are all of my neighbors, why are they? And then in the middle of 2 burnt down blocks, there's one house standing, and that's mine.
Let's take this to scripture. Psalms 91:10 says that no harm will overtake you, no disaster will come near your tent. Let's go.
Bro,
in the backyard fixing a truck, and then out of nowhere we just see a big light fall down and basically crash in the backyard. Like that's like a couple seconds after, I saw the big giant creature in front of me. The alien, whatever you guys want to call it. The alien demon, whatever you guys want to call it.
What do you believe it is?
A demon.
A demon?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it is, you know. Only God knows what it was. But I'm thinking it's like something bad, you know, not a good thing.
Was it moving? Was it doing?
Yes, it was moving. It was, you could see like, he was breathing, like he was like pissed off. Like he wanted to do something.
And he was looking at you and
Yeah,
your brother?
he was looking at me, yeah.
Did he say anything?
Well, I remember he was growling like a dog, like he was growling.
When did it end?
As soon as I closed my eyes, I guess. I don't know. I think I was praying or something like that, and they just let me go. That's when I went inside, and you know, I saw my dad. I mean, I saw it too.
It
Everybody
felt
said,
like it had a control of your body?
oh yeah, I couldn't move. I couldn't move. Yeah.
You were paralyzed at the sight of this thing.
Yeah, I couldn't move.
And you were looking at it for 30 or so seconds, and then all of a sudden it was gone.
Yeah. That was pretty creepy.
A lot of people think that that's just hard to believe.
They, you know, like I said again, they can think whatever they want.
We've been watching
this whole burnt
Come
shit,
on,
bro.
bro.
This Bible is not.
Nah, bro. Nah.
That's God. Look around, bro.
Nah, bro.
Untouched.
Nah, bro. That's weird, bro.
I gotta keep that. That's crazy.
I got goosebumps, bro.
I just did too. No cap, bro. That's God, bro. That's.
Nah, I got goosebumps.
You know they.
bro.